So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, excited to see a little bit of Consulate. As you've said, it has seen a very low frequency globally, really, at this point. And for Wildcard specifically, a map that has been tucked away and hidden away for a long time. They've literally banned it once over the last few months. Against them, though, it has been banned on 25 occasions. So Wildcard have been very much waiting for this moment to show it. And as the boys on the couch were saying, that the blueprint, the way in which they kind of look to take down maps, generally speaking, as an overarching theory, is probably going to be pretty compatible with cons. So yeah, it has all the hallmarks of being a 3-mapper, but we'll wait and see, of course, how this series does eventuate. Maybe there is another 2-0 on the horizon.
If there were to be another 2-0 on the horizon, do you kind of just base it on who wins this console? Maybe not so much who wins this console, but considering Chalet, the map to follow for DarkZero, 4-0 record, it's their second map preference. Yeah, like, I mean, DZ do take Consulate. If they can upset Wildcard on the opening map, I feel like they're more likely to win this 2-0 than probably, say, Wildcard.
In terms of who's most likely to take it 2-0?
Well, yeah, I mean, I feel like Wildcard certainly could win Consulate and then into Chalet do the job there as well. But when you kind of consider that neither of these two have actually won this map, and while obviously for Wildcard, yes, this has been a map that's been banned against them so often. They did show it against FaZe, lost it. That's the only result we've seen from them this year on Consulate. Kind of getting to the thought process that if DZ could steal this map, get the win here, then Chalet looks really, really good for them as well.
The bans as well have concluded. Double info on the side of the attack with Solid Snake and Deimos unavailable, and a double hard breach denial with the Kite and Bandit benched for defense. So that may limit some of that clear potential here for Wildcard, the pacing, etc. Garnering that information, and it's going to mean that drones are even more valuable. Although with the Kite and the Bandit both banned out, that may alleviate pressure for the top four, hard breach and basement. Fultz finds the opening kill though. Strong start for DZ, and it's the striker taken out of play for Wildcard.
Yeah, and I think getting these early picks of Consulate is just going to be quite a lot. Yeah, you're going to probably see at least on this map, and honestly Chalet as well. So the first two maps of this series, a lot of this sort of entry battle, a lot of these entry denials, these fighting at the windows, that's going to be quite a pivotal part of this series for DZ and Wildcard. Bay's finally able to get a little bit of comfortability at the top of Spiral. Newers falls to Spiker. We saw his wonderful clip on Clubhouse during the intermission. We'll go for the plant side of Expo. Kino's probably the closest one, and even he's not going to be able to get into a position to deny. Bay does go down, 3v3 post-plant. Plant successfully down for Wildcard. Really quick adaptation mid-round. Sees them into a really solid position now. With Kansan outside, same with Adrian. There's a lot of presence outside of the building that DarkZero need to go deal with. They're not ready for Spiker. Still down below at the bottom of Spiral. Kino's probably going to have to try and long arm this, but I don't think that's going to be possible. Directly below still is Spiker, and he hits the headshot. Spiker is active early inside of the server, as Wildcard now look very likely to take this opening round. One from below, one from above. They're everywhere. Wildcard on the board.
Yeah, had them sandwiched in there in the post. And again, Spiker playing a huge role in that round. He for me has been one of the most exciting players to watch over the course of this stage, and he's really peaking now towards the back end of this stage, right at the perfect opportunity where if he finds an opportunity and has the ability to make a heads-up play, he backs himself in, and his ability to execute on those plays is really enjoyable to watch. I mean, great job here, catch Fultz. Then was down below, and with both Kansan and Adrian's second floor, there's no hope for Kino. Definitely no hope for NJR. The vibe's good in the Wildcard camp early. Down to basement for round 2.
Spiker, the best planter in the business. Kino's actually the second best. I hazarded a guess in this series that we're probably going to see quite a few post-plant situations play out.
10 seconds left.
Again,
5
first
seconds to
time
go.
getting to see Consul at this stage for NAL, so there's no statistics at all as to where it currently sits as of today and really as of this stage. And I don't really see too much value going too far back. Things always change stage to stage. But clearly a map that, I mean, ever since its reintroduction a couple of years back, it probably has started to fall out of favor a little bit.
Yeah, we actually had a quick look back at just how long Consulate has been in the pool, and it was a bit of a shock. Time flies. It's been nearly 3 years since Consulate was reintroduced.
Label as new Consulate as well, even though there wasn't a whole lot of changes. But yeah, it's definitely in that weird position now where it doesn't have the new tag really at all anymore.
Yeah, its days may be numbered until it gets reworked again. We'll see. As Kansan finds the open up, Vaults though with the trade with the Vulcan.
Monty.
Yeah,
Swapping mags.
you take that.
And on
DZ will be
Spiker.
pretty pleased. Yeah.
2 for 1. Basement the site, and Basement now a worry here for Wildcard. We see the Zero in play. Adrian trying to get some information. DarkZero for mine, I think a little bit better off now between the two teams. 4v4 heading into the final 90 seconds of the round. Still got a Nitro Cell with NJR. Impact, couple of gas babes, so decent utility. Bay's gonna go searching towards yellow, actually slowly makes his way up. There is actually one in piano, that's J90. This could be a crucial 1 versus 1. If they can deal with this, that eliminates that first floor pressure, but Bay is not going to be able to lurk over to his position. J90 is now fully aware that someone is aggressing on his location.
He's in a bit of a pinch, but catches Kansan. Bay not in a position to try and immediately hit the trade. Could be on for more here. J90 when he gets the second, that's job done. Ultimately traded. Nua's now in position to find Bay and does so. This has been good offside play from DZ. Adrian will sneak forward, but a 1 versus 3.
I was going to say, Adrian clearly aware that there was that re-aggress, maybe numbers not quite towards sight, so he's just being able to push up, but NJR does not get jump scared all that easily. Okay, so DarkZero able to get the second round, 1 for 1. This is kind of how things started in our first series. If we kind of draw our attention, or our minds, if you will, back to the M80 100 Thieves matchup, it was kind of 1 for 1, a little bit back and forth. Eventually, that arm wrestle went the way of M80, and certainly then to close labs, then into bank, it was all M80, but it started off as the arm wrestle. A lot of close rounds. Maybe not so much a super close round here, but a big round for J90, defending his position on this first floor towards piano, where he was pretty much by himself, gets 2 kills, traded, but then Nua's eventually arrived in time to then get the 3rd kill.
Let's go. Good shit.
Yeah, decent round defending Basement on Consulate, 1 to 1.
Yeah, certainly good effort there from DarkZero. And again, given the data driving this map, I think it's very much just an opportunity for DarkZero to try and get a free punch. I don't think there's a ton of expectation for them to go on and find success. As we've been saying, and the desk affirmed, 3 maps does feel like a pretty likely outcome in this matchup. And so that should just alleviate any kind of pressure for DarkZero in this matchup, who probably just back themselves in, play pretty default, and see that, maybe if they catch Wildcard off on a bad night, that could be enough to give themselves a lead in the series potentially. We'll have to certainly just wait and see as this map develops. Could end up being a bit of a grind for both teams. As we head into round number 3, split site, we'll see what approach Wildcard opt to go for. Early positioning would indicate a map clear, potentially all the way from top down. Spiker can drop yellow on the blitz and play the front line.
I'm trying to get as much info on this map as possible, guys, and so far I'm not coming up very well, by the way. I'll touch on this again, because this could be fast-paced from Wildcard. Spiker has gone from the roof to the basement all the way down yellow stairs.
Yeah, it might be top down. They're going to immediately hit basement, and it's just fault service stairs.
Well, they kind of keep DZ guessing on a split site where they obviously need to still defend towers, but Wildcard going more so for the basement site. DarkZero are very split. Second floor, first floor. It's only Fox that's really kind of defending basement at the moment. He's going to be able to get a lot of information, but can he get the intel that the plant's going down below inside a server? Spiker will not get that plant. Newers was able to deny from the first floor, had the angle on the blitz, and therefore now DarkZero not only deny the plant, they had that extra player. That now no longer. J90 falls to Baby Shark, who finds his second kill of this game. Wildcard recover the diffuser. Now, if they want, they can start to push up server stairs, and that's exactly what Kenzen has gone to do. Gets rid of Newers, plant will be successful. I love this pacing from Wildcard, and it seems as if it's going to work out in the third round. Split should be theirs, only NJR. But with Kenzen down, maybe a 1v2 is still possible. We'll need to pick up the pace as he converts onto Kenzen. Goes for the kill. Oh, lovely headshot onto Bay. And it creates the 1 versus 1 against Baby Shark, who slips over to Visa. Yellow ping. Headshot connects. NJR with a huge clutch. It doesn't get any better than that from NJR.
Wow. 1 HP.
Oh.
The eyebrow raise, and not even a reaction from DarkZero. That's just every day at the office for them. What a clutch. I mean, that's just another good example of a player who knows he's in such a small percentage. He has such a small percentage chance of winning the round, but he commits. He doesn't hesitate. He goes for the play and was able to catch the timing. Shame for Baby Shark. He tried to find the vert, and I think he repositioned, obviously tried to protect his life, got caught in the middle ground. And NJR just so cool, calm, and collected. That's a big round. This is a map where I expected Wildcard, even in this early stage, to have probably been a little more dominant than they have so far. So, a yellow flag raised early. 40 seconds, NJR was able to bait out the first with a good long arm. And then Baby Shark right here goes for impact, so tries to find vert. Then elects to jump out, go Visa side. There was yellow ping information.
Baby Shark.
I love the
And they just can't believe it. I don't blame them.
The stats, by the way, guys, that I was kind of referencing regarding Concert, trying to find as much information, it really just does not get played, except for, yeah, I mean, there's not really anywhere that it's overwhelmingly played. I'd say for the most part, looking at a lot of the numbers, it leans towards the defense overall. We did see even back in kickoff for the North American kickoff, I kind of had a look at it as well. We only saw it one time, but it did lean defense too. So, I mean, I think the best case example, what I would go for in this half is that 4-2 split that we kind of talk about. I think that's going to be what DarkZero are looking for. Get to the 4 rounds on defense as a minimum. So far, not too bad. I mean, you got 2 locked up. Dockerby ban and the Goyo ban and the Adrian opening kill for Wildcard. One thing though that's been very noticeable in this first half, the pace from Wildcard has been at an incredible level. 2-2 split now for the opening kills, but these opening kills have been early, and these plants as well, guys. Minute 19, minute 15. So keep that in mind here as we head to CO meeting for the first time, and this is a site where you can plant quickly.
Yeah, DZ are certainly looking to try and aggress early in these rounds, and as you've noted on a couple of occasions now, Wildcard have been able to have a read and punish that. We'll see how they now look to exercise their advantage in this round. 5 versus 4. Admin across. Ranged hard breach and plenty of U2 layering on offer late. Love the inclusion of the Glaz as well in this setup. Spiker can, again, with smokes in pocket, be self-sufficient. And they're in a position now where they could even consider console side. But clearly the admin side take is first preference at the moment. We'll see if that changes at all with the clash of play. And oh, Spiker falls. So NJR plays under yellow skylight, and Spiker presumably just not expecting him to be in that position.
It feels like maybe another nerve-wracking round. No Newers, no Spiker. Spiker, of course, started hot. He got his 3 kills all in the opening round. And boy, were they impactful, as that's the only round Wildcard have won so far. 60 seconds. Not a lot of time left now for Wildcard. That early pace that, again, they tried to show has now been stalled out.
There's a real lack of explosives here as well into the clash. No frag grenades remain, and just the one Grim Beat. They are completely starved of utility for the final 40 seconds of this push.
And that push is probably going to have to be one where they flood together and hope that they can hit some really good shots. And that's going to mean the Bolt on the clash, shield up. Kansas will talk about a really good shot, but Kino finds the double with the SMG. And suddenly a 2v3 when you've still got to deal with this clash, and the Shamika launcher of NJR can certainly make that floor lava. There's no gas beams left for Kino, so he'll just stay shotgun, play the close angle. He can swing at any time, but holds his nerve. A little shoulder peek, it goes the way of Canton. Needs to hit the next shot rather quickly, but he's so low. Dinner plate will do the job from NJR. 1 second remaining in the 1v1, and Baby Shark just doesn't have the time to close the gap. It's another round for DarkZero as they make it 3 straight. They go 3-1 up. And it's 3 different sites as well. Wildcard are really pushing the limit here. They're doing so much right, but they're just not getting the reward, and they therefore call a tactical timeout.
It's certainly a respectable effort from Wildcard to wrangle that to 1v1. The clash is still up, and literally 0 util. This entire push is completely dependent on positioning and trade. We saw the clash initially start to slur a little bit. It was a good clear onto Kino, and Kansan was very narrowly close to dropping NJR as well. If he hits that spray, obviously the round goes completely the other way. So Wildcard showed good fight in that roundage, and generally are showing good fight here on Constellate so far, but it's small margins, it's 1%ers, it's a classic tale of a close best of 3 where they are losing out. And DarkZero with 3 rounds straight are making a little bit of a statement on a map where I think there was very little expectation on them showing up on. So this has been a strong performance from DZ thus far, and well, the onus is on Wildcard to invest heavily in that tac timeout, which they do, and clearly identifying that 2-4 scoreline as being a target.
I kind of look at the timeout more as in relation to the fact that it's 3 straight for DarkZero, but it's also from Wildcard's perspective, in my opinion, I think they're doing a decent amount right, but they're just not able to, get that execute point down pat. Take a little bit of a breather, talk things over. 2 pretty important rounds still to be played. Again, it's your map pick. So it's never a nice feeling when you do find yourself a couple of rounds down, but I do have the expectation this should favor defense, but it's a game of 2 halves. We won't know. Maybe DarkZero have got some things cooked up on their own attack. And with that timeout now used by Wildcard, well, they're not going to be able to stall out any momentum later in that second half, so really do need to close this first half out on a positive note. One thing that's been very detrimental, though, I think, for Wildcard is just losing Spiker at various points of these, well, 3 rounds that have played since the opening round. We head back down to basement. Interesting for DarkZero, they will skip Expo Piano after what happened in the 1 round that Wildcard won. I think that's the smart play. And, of course, possible considering they've played all 4 of the sites here on Consulate. Oh, Baby Shark with the opening kill. It's another one for Wildcard early.
Another one, yeah, again, but it's DZ that are dictating that by playing ultra aggressive. Faults as well, then caught out. It's better from Wildcard.
Well, I mean, they played the clear well, but DarkZero, as you said, have kind of, I think, allowed this to happen. They've played into it.
Well, they have to double down now. There's no point anchoring in this position. They will look to try and make more aggressive plays now in a hope that they can get this round back, but it's low percentage.
Well, it feels like the NJR Nitrocell is probably their way back into this round. Going to get something from below. Even if it's just 1, then it's a 3v4. Suddenly you're not, ultra outnumbered towards the execute point of the round.
I was hoping you can get a bit of info here from Kino. Here we go.
Oh, is he good? No, he holds it. To be fair, if he blew that immediately, I don't think he actually gets the kill. Maybe some damage on the radius of the explosion. He does retrieve. I mean, these are the rounds that Wildcard have to be winning, otherwise it becomes a very sore point for them here on this map. Their map pick, if they go 4-1 down after a 5v3 advantage post a tactical timeout, incredibly demoralizing.
Yeah, it would be.
Hanson will rip the floorboards up. 50 seconds. Next kill, Baby Shark steps up. He's been pivotal in this 5th round out of the timeout.
Yeah, 40 seconds. Wildcard largely doing a good job at containing this defense and holding both Spiral and the back push. And it could well be flawless. 30 on the board.
It's the most dominant round that we've had so far on Consulate. It may even be flawless if NJR doesn't hit this shot through the hatch. He gets Baby Shark down to a very small health margin as the plant is successful. You can put this one in the book. Wildcard will win the 5th round. A really solid round from them. Excellent first floor clear. DarkZero just got outnumbered pretty quickly. Spiker on the blitz didn't go down early. And that Nitrocell, which was held for quite some time, still does not have any say in the round. Flawless. Wildcard much better out of their timeout.
Yeah, doing a good job in containing that aggression. Again, a large reason why the average entry kill time has been so early in the round is DZ continuing to aggress off site, sometimes then doubling down. And whilst it's been actually, for the most part, pretty well contained by Wildcard, that first initial pick, it's been the delayed trade or the mid-round aggression where they have had some struggles so far. So a better job there. And again, to illustrate that particular point, round 5, so successful conversion, right? Baby Shark gets the opener onto Newlands. There's been 2 other occasions, both in rounds 2 and 4, where they got that opening kill. They were both within the first minute of the round, and then they went on to lose. So maybe that was also a point that was discussed during the timeout, something that was identified and relayed. And they put it into action there in the 5th. So a solid response from Wildcard. They reached the benchmark and have now well positioned themselves to potentially equalize the half.
Yeah, and what we do now as well, we go to round 6, Expo Piano for DarkZero. We only saw it back in the opening round. Leaves the door ajar now for Wildcard to make it 2 straight, tie things up 3-3. But also an opportunity for DarkZero to respond on this site, which they did lose in the opening round. That was the 1 minute and 19 second plant by Spiker. So that was a very fast-paced round from Wildcard. Now, looking at the lineup, it is going to be an incredibly different lineup to close out the half on this site. They bring the Sens, they bring the Zofia, the Ace, the Nomad. The Twitch, in fact, is the only operator that is remaining from that opening round. So they're going to cook up a second strategy. On the flip side for DarkZero, they themselves will bring a couple of different operators. They drop, well, the Goyo's dropped for them, but they cannot bring the Goyo. They don't bring the Castle. So this time they get to bring the Azami and the Mozzie.
Spike is postured to be the initiator in this round with the diffuser and the ROUs on Sense. But it gets nitroed from below. What a play from DZ. The diffuser will be claimed, but yeah. Well, we've seen some good nitro cells. We've also cast our minds back to that first series, the hot and cold one that missed. That one was pivotal one missed, but you're right, when they have had influence, they've been massive so far this evening. Midpoint of the round, Wildcard looking to pressure site now directly.
Yeah, I mean, the directness of this round from Wildcard is going to put a lot into the hands of Baby Shark. Hanson can they hit shots? We'll talk about Newers making the impact to close out the half. 2 crucial kills. He got rid of the Sens, and now he gets rid of Baby Shark. A 2-player advantage for DarkZero leads them towards the light in closing this first half for the defense. With J90 tucked in nicely, he could be good for 1. And that 1 will be converted onto Bay. 1 and done from J90, but that was all that was needed due to the earlier work in the half. And they find themselves now looking for that 4th round. Flash into bathroom. Good clear from Adrian. As Adrian and Kansas will need to go together. To close out this half, they would need to win a 2v5. Well, they got 1, but 4 to go. Not expecting. No, indeed, Adrian was expecting Folds to play close at Yellow Stairs. Hang on a second. Is there one last twist? Indeed, there will be. It's suddenly down to the man that started it all in this next round, and he may just end it. Kansas will get off the case, and Newers will indeed end it. 2 crucial kills to start the round, and 2 very crucial kills to end the round. 4-2 to DZ.
What a way to finish that half. DarkZero snatching one from the jaws of Wildcard. 4-2, a perfect example of the close rounds that they've continued to win.
Yeah, I was gonna say, even if you're seeing this as a 4-2 half, if you're actually watching this game, these rounds have been so close where one gunfight swings in the other's direction, and then we're possibly talking Wildcard in a 4-2 half situation. I mean, even for the fact that they almost brought that back, thank God for the heroics here from Newers to be able to convert that into a quad kill. But again, this game has been relatively close. There hasn't really been a clear favor for me. I think both teams have been doing an extremely good job, whether it's been on their attack or defense. I like what I'm seeing from the side of Wildcard. Like I said, pushing and pulling the defense around, finding some gaps, finding some players, trying to isolate them. Their second round they won, they did a very good job. And then for DarkZero, I mean, it really has been a lot of heroics from these players that are keeping them in the fight here.
Yeah, I'm watching this game, and what I'm seeing is the mayor is in town. Of course he is. Even on this round right here specifically, this was one of the rounds that Wildcard should have been able to close out. And as we were listening to the comms, they actually thought they should have had 5 attacks. And, you know, I'm not going to say everything's going to go your way, but this is a round you're going to look back and you're going to wish. I mean, Bay, the weapon, the storm, whatever name we want to call him, how we're feeling that day. I mean, he was whiffing big time. And then here, there's no call. He's not aware, I guess, that we have the mayor walking upstairs. It's not even that round. It's the top floor round as well. He read into exactly what they were going to do on that CEO round. They're going to go for the long desk play, and they're going to rotate a guy to yellow skylight. Where's the mayor? Underneath the skylight, kills that player. He's holding the position for Spiral. He clutches out with the Tachanka, his favorite operator. I mean, DZ are looking good today, but you are correct. I mean, this is the most defender-sided map that we have in our pool. I think Wildcard's still pretty happy to get 2 rounds.
No, I definitely think they're still in good position. And I think, again, it's a situation where now they're on defense, and something that I highlighted going into this series, or something that I really like that they do on defense, is they play into those trap operators. They use that Denari. They use those Goyos for late round when people go for executes, pop those. But again, it's that early aggression. They get that first pick, and then they fall back into those layers. So I'm hoping they don't deviate off of that.
And they're not deviating off the blueprint that we've just talked about earlier in the segment. How did they beat Wildcard? It was mainly on this defensive half, and they get rid of the shields from Kino. We're going to see them get rid of both. They are. They're actually going to leave the Montaigne up, which I like. Those are the aggressive shields. Montaigne's going to be available. So yes, Kino, look at that, hopping right on that instantly. They're still going to be able to go for the normal full clears, but it's going to be slow, and they're going to still be able to utilize the rest of their game plan. Yes, Valkyrie ban, great job on the side of DZ, but they're still going to be able to use the Solus. They're still going to use the Pulse, and I still expect a lot of vision from Wildcard.
All right, well, Wildcard down 2 right now, but on the defensive half to see if they can make this comeback happen.
Yeah, and I guess the good news for Wildcard fans, guys, is it's not as if it's the comeback of large proportions. You know, 2-4 now go on defense. I think they'll still be pretty comfortable with where they sit. And interesting to hear as well from Mint in terms of the comms, where Wildcard probably thinking, and to be honest, like I somewhat agree with them, is I don't think them being on 2 rounds is where they should be based on the overall general play.
Yeah, again, like Lax was saying, it's just been a couple of key moments in a lot of these rounds where a gunfight goes one way or the other, and that could be the difference maker. Yeah, certainly some volatile moments in that first half. I'm really intrigued to see what does the pacing look like. It was quick in that first half, largely dictated by the defense, but what does it look like in the second half? DarkZero with the Monty, anticipating them to go for slower map clears. Wildcard, their blueprint is to translate here into this match, expecting it to be largely trap heavy and stall out heavy. So if DZ don't rein in that pace, or at least are cognizant of that, it could potentially be costly. So we'll see how that does develop over the course of this half. And again, is it going to be a super quick pace like the first, or is it going to be more tempered? And I think tempered is the expectation if Wildcard are to be pretty contained here and looking to play into the late round.
And don't forget, Consulate's the kind of map as well where you can play aggressive on the defense. And speaking of
they're playing.
aggressive, it's straight in plant towards Piano for Kino. He's going to sit this gas babe, and he should be able to get the plant successful and down, but he's not going to get up after it. So he gets the plant down, but they do lose the Monty. 4 versus 5 means for Wildcard as they find that opening kill and don't need to deal with the shield in the post plant, but it's still a post plant nevertheless. Spike will get straight on it, immediately straight off it as he's eliminated quickly by Fault. Newers was down, finished off by Bay. Again, with that timer ticking down, they are just going to start to throw bodies, but up close, Bay able to defend. Adrian will not be denied, and Preston, he sticks it the whole way through for Wildcard. Well, they're not going to allow DarkZero to do to them what they tried to do to DZ in the first half. That quick play, that quick plant, it didn't quite work. Unfortunately for Kino, was never able to play the post plant, but he did make the right play in just sticking the plant and entering the post plant. Unfortunately, his team just couldn't do the job 4v5.
That was a chaotic round. Certainly didn't anticipate DZ to try and execute so early into the round, and whilst ultimately they were able to stick, I think the post-plant positions ended up being a little suboptimal. 3 players stuck on the outer, no one able to play for a late sweep top floor. That then opened up the opportunity for the counter defuse, and then it was covered horizontally really nicely by the rest of the Wildcard defense. Made it tricky for DZ to fight from yellow side or fight from lobby. Those were some difficult crosses to navigate, and ultimately it opened up the window for the counter defuse to be a success. Good work from Wildcard, and always a nice feeling, I think, early when you're able to play out a post like that, because they're very chaotic. There's a lot going on. Comms need to be clean. Everyone needs to be on the same wavelength, and I think from what we could see positionally there from Wildcard, it was very much the case. So credit to them in sustaining the pressure of that first DZ attack. Into the 8th, we go to the top floor, and this operator lineup from DZ is pretty tantalizing. With the Rayora in play, probably indicative that it will be admin side. Her barriers, her gates, traditionally will be used to help cover those lines of sight. But it is the kind of comp that is versatile, so don't be shocked if they do end up going console direct here. It's going to be up to Wildcard again to withstand this pressure, and it does come down to a mid-round plant. We'll see if they're able to deny it this time around. They do have triple nitro, and the Tachanka for stall out.
Track sting is deployed. Track sting is out.
We've seen 4 plants in 7 rounds of siege. That is a very high volume.
Undeployable. Something's blocking.
We'll see if that continues.
Strong panel deployed.
Although 2 of those rounds of the 4 plants, they were counter diffused anyway. Lewis, lovely entry. Talk about that entry into bathroom is successful. Headshot onto Spiker. Another opening death for him in the last couple of rounds. But the trades are coming back from Wildcard. And then looking away, Newers wasn't expecting the push from Kenton, and Wildcard just clean up. Well, that was devastating. Make that 3 of the last 4 rounds for Wildcard. Don't get it twisted. This game's tied up, but they've got all the momentum, guys. We were saying at 4-2, at least I mentioned it, and as Mint pointed out from the communications of the team, Wildcard felt like they should have been leading this game. Well, now we're tied, and now we're going into a DarkZero timeout.
Yeah, it's clearly been a suboptimal start to the second half for DZ. Wildcard dominating, at least in that 8th round and the 7th, probably not too far off having a similar label by winning it in a post plant. So clearly there's been a breakdown from DZ early here. They tried to go for that heads up play through bathroom, and there was just the one trap operator up from the side of Wildcard in that particular round, but the Razor Bloom was hugely impactful. They then weren't able to get value from the console repel. It was a little bit all over the place there from that attack, and Wildcard doing a good job in staggering it. 60 seconds eclipses. Not a very long period to talk about such a complex game, of course, but we'll see if DZ are able to capitalize and rebound.
I mean, so far only 2 attacking rounds have been won here on Consulate. Doesn't then bode well for DarkZero. It does this as we head into the 9th round of the 4-4 scoreline, where attack rounds have been hard to come by. Basement we go. Well, this is where one of the attacking rounds was successful for Wildcard in the first half. Round 5, basement. And that was the flawless round as well.
Bomb located by attackers.
Kino gets to stay on this Monty for one more round, guys. How much of a factor is that too? With what we've seen in the first 2 rounds, we know that Monty ban is going to follow after this round, so you will lose access to the Montang. Does that make it harder for DarkZero, or maybe pivoting away from the shield play might actually better suit them going then into the rounds after the 9th round?
Laser device sensor activated.
Time for some home improvement.
Watch out. Enemy device nearby.
I'm starting to get the impression that, again, DZ here might be looking to go pretty direct. I think the expectation early was with the Monty on board that we'd see
Enemy devices out like a
probably more map sweeps from them, but it hasn't really been the case so far. Breach open, Kino planting again early.
Yeah, quick, very quick again from Kino. Nitrocell did get thrown out, but it doesn't stop Kino. That's the main factor, but they do get 2 kills regardless for Wildcard. Again, just winning these early battles on their defense. It's posing to be the problem for DZ. While they can get these plants down, they just can't seem to then be in a position to defend it. They've been completely swept up, down to just J90. Adrian's on the case, and he just didn't even really need that much cover. All 5 stay alive. It's the 2nd time in this match that Wildcard will go flawless on basement. They make it 3 straight, 4 of the last 5 rounds, and clearly now looking very, very confident to take this map of Consulate.
Yeah, it doesn't really feel like there's a lot in the tank here for these DZ attacks into Consulate. Potentially, we're now at the point where their lack of experience and comfortability on this map is being a little bit exposed, whereas for Wildcard, again, they've only literally banned it once. It's been firmly banned against them, and they're flexing their muscles here in the 2nd half, even after that tactical time out for DarkZero, unable to be successful. It's now their 2nd direct attack facilitated by the Monty plant that, well, has gone down, but has completely fallen apart, where the Monty then unable to have huge influence in the post, and then the rest of the systems breaking down. Wildcard have done a really good job in fighting back in both round 7 and round 9. It is pretty infrequent for post plans to be successful for the defense. Of course, it is fairly circumstantial, and you know, the site, the round, the man count, etc, 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 but they've shown good fight on both occasions, and I think truly deserved of winning both of them. So credit to Wildcard, 3-round streak. Tech pause called, and DarkZero will just stew a little bit after what has been a bit of a shock to the system in the last few rounds.
Yeah, the tech pause probably aids them a little bit more. I think with the current scenario at play, it's interesting. After the round ended and immediately we went into the pause, half a second thought, wait, hang on, are they getting a 2nd tactical timeout? But obviously can't communicate during the tech pause. Yeah, I mean, I won't lie though, this is one of those, I almost don't even really want to use the word comeback in some ways, because it was only a 4-2 half to begin with. So it's not like, it's not like Wildcard were down that significant. I mean, it was even 3-2, so it wasn't even a 4-1 comeback either. And pretty evident by a lot of the statistics that, yes, Wildcard were 2 rounds down in the first half, but they did so much right, and they were looking, I think, largely the better team. They just couldn't close out certain rounds. In the clutch, absolutely, that's where I think in the first half, DarkZero were far better. Well, so far, we've now played 3 rounds in this 2nd half. No clutches at all from DarkZero. So you take away the clutch, you're just now seeing a little bit more domination from Wildcard, and in these post plants too. Like you said, we don't see it that often. Certainly 2 out of 3 rounds to get the plant successfully down, but then lose the post plant. And that's not common territory. And so I guess in some ways you could say for DarkZero, well, we're getting the plant down, but we're still losing the rounds. But in either of those rounds, they never looked likely. They immediately lost Kino both times essentially, and then everyone else was falling so quickly because Wildcard were very active in making sure that they brought the pressure in the post plant as soon as it begun.
Yeah, quick update for everybody. Due to the ops crash, we have been required to remake the lobby, so bear with us. Should only take a couple of minutes to get the players back in and input the history. So I don't think we'll be too far away from resuming proceedings in terms of a bit of a snapshot for how the players are performing so far inside the server. Kansan leading all comers 11-5 over 150 EPS. So he's been having a great day at the office. Also +2 on entry and critically 100% cost as well, which is a metric that very few players will typically have. Triple digits so deep into all matches is very, very impressive. So credit to him. To contrast that against DarkZero, for instance, NJR and Nua's the only two above 100 EPS at the moment. NJR going 6-4, yet to have an entry duel. Nua's 7-6 and has had some pretty impactful moments over the course of the map so far. It only has to be said. 2-2 on entry for him, but those cost numbers in contrast are much lower for DarkZero. The highest on their team is at 50% shared across 4 players. So they're individually having pop-off moments and certainly having influence on the matchup, but it hasn't quite been as extensive, as consistent as Wildcard. And I can't help but probably shake the inclination that the last 3 rounds and how strong Wildcard have looked defensively has probably helped skew those numbers in their favor.
Yeah, Kansan this stage rated 15th, which, yeah, for the most part is pretty high up there, especially when there's 50 players in the region. 15th is quite solid for Kansan, but he's playing above that level in this match as you kind of read his stats. Easily being the best player inside of the server. On the flip side, if you kind of look towards DarkZero this stage, don't forget, Nuas was the second best player throughout group stage. J9O, the 3rd best player. NJR, the 7th best player. And J9O, 4-8. Faults, 5-7. So, I mean, yeah, for the most part, I think probably J9O is the only one for DarkZero that statistically is not maybe performing to the level that we saw from him during group stage. Looks as if, at least based on what I can see in the background, I don't think we're too far away from getting back into Consulate. Apologies for the tech pause. I mean, look, I don't think there's much of a history in terms of technical pauses really changing games too often. I mean, we've been around the block a long time, guys. And if anything, tac pauses will always have more of an influence. Tech pauses, you can't really say anything. You can make the argument, and it's very valid, that technical pause probably hinders the team with the momentum. But it's not as if you're sitting there in your DarkZero stewing in your thoughts, feeling all that good about what's been happening. If anything, that can make things worse. You start to almost doubt yourself even more. So it really just is entirely dependent on how you want to frame things. As it stands, it's now round 10, and it's 4 of the last 5 rounds to Wildcard. They've really amped up that domination that we saw in the first half, where they just weren't converting into round wins. Well, now they are, and now they're 2 rounds away from taking Consulate.
5 seconds left.
This round feels critical for DarkZero in trying to break this momentum, and I wonder what the approach will be. So they bring the Sense and the Capital. They could go for the bench side plant. They haven't shied away from playing very direct so far. Last time it was the straight vault and hit to piano. Plant successful, but faulted in the post. And if you are just joining off the back of the last round, which was another direct hit, basement, straight through garage, planned a success, but the post once again fractured. So what do they do this time around? Do they invest in some clearance above? They have, again, the tools to do so with the ranged hard breach of NJR. And at least looking to deter those above, because with the Solace in play, getting this plant down is certainly not impossible. There are some blind spots, but it's tricky. And Wildcard have shown such good ability, even with the plant secured in retake. And I think that is going to make DarkZero just a little unnerved at the moment, a little unsettled.
Just watching
it down. Yeah, Kino Visa side. Yeah, I'm keeping a very keen eye on it as well.
143 is the latest opening kill that we've had, and we don't beat it as Nuas sneaks in a 147 kill onto Adrian. We keep the fast times going here in Consulate. Out of the tech pause, a rare opening pick for DZ, but not so rare for Nuas. He's actually got 3 straight now for his team. And of course, without that Monty ban, it means that Kino can still play the shield. It was searching. Oh, one did present.
Selma, get ready for the
Unable to find this next kill for Newers. DarkZero have not had success in this half when they've gone for the plants. I think it's actually better if they just go for the kills. This is seemingly where they're finding more success.
Yeah, that's
Baby Shark falls, running towards yellow stairs. 2-player advantage, minute left. Must win for DZ.
Lovely position. Jano, no position perfectly for the Monty as that defense flushes for the rotate yellow stairs to get that free 2-player advantage and time on the clock for DarkZero to equalize.
And it's really only the gas babes left in terms of util available for the defense. Of course, Kansan can get some information as to Kino's whereabouts towards CO. Now the drop in towards Piano. They should be aware of this. Bay gets the kill on defaults. RU shield screen goes up from the stands of Newers as Kino finds his plant position. Will it be safe? Again, there's no utility, so no nitro cells, no impact. Only shots from below would have been the play. That doesn't happen. Kino gets to now play the post plant for the first time. It's a third plant successfully in the half for DZ. But Spiker keeps things interesting, and with Kino down, it's a 2 versus 3. Surely Wildcard couldn't do it again. Looking for their third counter defuse.
2-stack above here from DZ.
Well, the 2-stack above is fine. They've got the vert. And again, there's no utility. So I don't have any problem with this. As long as they don't die, they should win. The 2-stack above was fine. The NJR did go first floor, and there's the pinch. Spiker now knows he's got one pushing from yellow. He still needs to deal with Newers, but Newers was always in the best position. Time runs out. We're 5-5. We're tied here on Consulate.
Well, DarkZero shake the curse of the post plant. It was a much slower tempo clear. They used the Monty to flush them down those stairs. J90 with the cutoff. They afford themselves the 2-player advantage. Then able to go for the plant. Solace not below. Nitro not below. Bay went for the spray and missed. And then we entered the post plant, which has been so unfavorable for DarkZero so far, but they invest 2 above.
Just
Monty milks, but we have them.
They secure the round. And they
this is the interesting thing. So you ban the Blitz, you ban the Blackbeard, and then you ban the Glaz. You don't ban the Monty. And as we know, Kino likes to play shields. Kino's shield play, when you kind of look across this stage, largely is towards the Blitz and the Blackbeard. The Monty, don't get me wrong, of course, is shield up and he will play it, but Blackbeard Blitz is where you will typically see him shine. The Monty, though, now left available. Yes, you do get rid of the Glaz, and yes, it did feature for a round, 1 round. I mean, whereas the Monty now is about to feature for the 4th time. Could this end up being a potential error for Wildcard? Round 11, 5-5.
You'll know, Ella. You might have a point there.
Well, the question will be now, can they build that into something bigger? Round 11, break point. Always a high-pressured situation as both teams eagerly try to get to that map point first. It's DZ shape up admin side, maybe with a split below here. All Fulton's core. Backs from Zofia. Opportunity doesn't present itself for a pick. Wildcard doing a good job to not overplay their hand.
Yeah, but he gets a bit of space getting into lobby like that rather than being stalled out.
And say that. Back down. Oh, it doesn't matter. It was ultimately cleared. Okay.
He's back out again. J90 towards balconies. Auto canister's a little late. That gets opened up. Auto canister will delay any potential push through, but I don't think J90 was ever just going to go for a quick entry. This is actually going to be our slowest round officially here in Consulate as we pass 143. 5v5. We are in uncharted territory, guys. No round has gone this late with still all 10 players alive inside of the server at round 11, 5-5. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better round. CO meeting, Vulcan canister dealt with. Kino clearly wanting to go towards that default plant inside of meeting.
Grenade out.
Pressure from DZ on the first floor with Newers. The skeleton key can certainly have an impact in this round.
Oh,
and
yeah,
no, he doesn't even need it. He just gets Baby Shark. Free kill. Surely not thinking about a plan already, because you've got to factor in potential nitro cells. As Volt gets rid of Cancer, that's a huge kill, because that's one of the 2 nitros. You're down to the Shamika launcher of the Tachanka and the nitro cell of Bay. As Kino goes for the plant, they have the cover, the cross, and there's no utility at all thrown his way. A successful plant from Kino. And with Adrian falling, DarkZero now march towards map point.
Yeah, it'll be desperation from Wildcard at this point, but there's so little they can do. The most difficult post they find themselves in, and it's still a 2 versus 5. 20 seconds. Fault's close. Kino peels. Spike it down. Bay trades, but he too falls, and that, for me, has got to be the best round that DarkZero have played so far on Consulate. Loved the map clear. I love the X factor of the buck below. They knew they couldn't just go for a one-dimensional slow push into that trap-heavy and denial-heavy lineup. They would have been bled out by the time. Great work from Newers. Solid initiative there from Kino as well. That was a massive pick. They held good angles, good util coverage as well. The belt from Faults was on point. They were just... They were faultless in that round. That was really clean from DarkZero, and they have grinded their way to map point.
Incredible considering where things were looking. The job's not done just yet. It's a single map point, and if this goes to OT, then there's the reprieve for Wildcard.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Wildcard are going to switch up a little bit here in terms of their strategy. They're going to completely double down on a combo that they've kind of split up throughout. So the Solus has never featured with the Vigil and the Pulse. Now the first time that they'll do that, they're going to just bring all 3. We've seen rounds where they bring just the Solus with a bit more of a bunker, and then we've seen rounds where they go for the aggressive Pulse and Vigil. And talk about an incredibly crucial opening kill. Somehow, Kino's dead. Bay finds the Monty of all players on the opening kill of this round. Basically, a spawn peek. No Monty whatsoever. Critical opening kill for Wildcard. And information available for Kansan opens up the barricade. Nitrocell, lovely teamwork. NJR never saw it coming. Even with the radar. You ain't seeing that one. It seems as if overtime is all but certain. Unless something changes quickly from DarkZero.
Try hiding now!
That's a start. But elsewhere, Newers falls. And Jane, I know, now up close, shotgun fight. Freebie for Kansan, and OT now beckons Faults in the 1v4. Good response from Wildcard as this match continues to heat up.
Lovely shot from Faults, but he's not going to get any more. Not with Kansan that close. Okay, let's go OT. More rounds needed on Consulate, because you know what? This map, we haven't seen this stage, so we need as many rounds as possible. Wildcard know that this is not going to be free in OT. And they also know, and probably where there might maybe just a little bit more stress, guys, is that Chalet's not going to be easy either. That's a solid map for DarkZero. DarkZero right now have the chance to still take Consulate in overtime and go to their more favorable Chalet. Wildcard need this map.
Yeah, look, they didn't shy away from the fight in that round. Some great initiative early, and
attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
loving that positivity on display. The sides will not swap for round 13. Wildcard to continue their rally on defense, and DarkZero will look to try and break that on attack. Down to basement we go. It will be the second appearance, I almost said third, second appearance of this site.
10 seconds remaining.
Because last time we saw a direct approach from DarkZero. They tucked and got the plant near breach. capitulated in the post. They bring the Monty again, but with the Ram in play, that would suggest that there's going to be more emphasis off-site and a greater emphasis on establishing Vert onto that objective.
Well, the first 4 rounds, the opening kills were not being converted, but that ended up being the outlier. Since then, only 1 round has failed in conversion. Opening kills have mattered quite a lot. NJR is wondering where's he even getting shot from. He gets taken very low. That must be so frustrating. Not only do you waste a bit of time trying to open up that breach here for basement, which is the site, but then you get taken very low, and he needs to be cautious because they need those exothermic charges. They don't have secondaries. They don't then have another option. That could have been a disaster for DarkZero to start overtime. It's already bad enough as it is, but it could have been far worse.
Drone is ready to go.
He can at least play more passive now, drone heavy. Be cautious in protecting his life for the late round. Quad Nitro in this round from Wildcard, and 2 still in play for Spiker and Kansan with the pulse available. He'll be able to look to counteract the Vert potential here from DarkZero. Looking to actively gain information currently. And spot a player up above.
Kill. Oh my god, blow it.
Nope.
What?
He's thrown it on a hard surface. He identified it immediately. That's why he didn't blow it. You could see on his face as he threw it. An error was made. Can't take that one back now.
Clear.
Well, I mean, there's a minute left. Both teams have probably not really had the round they would like. Couldn't get hard breach opened up. Blow Nitrocell gets nothing. In fact, well, 4 Nitrocells in this round that you kind of pointed out earlier, cousin. But they only got 1 left. 60 seconds, still 5v5. It's been a strange one to start OT. It probably hasn't followed the script as what we saw back in regulation. They're going to revisit main breach here now that they've finally dealt with the shockwire batteries. Here's the exothermics of NJR that are still up because he stayed alive. As Folds gets the opening kill, he's then traded quickly, and the trade game now begins. NJR will open up that breach. The one and only Nitro left from Spiker, but he pushes up Spiral, so he's actually quite a distance away, and that push forward. Kino, what a pistol shot! The entry Monty? And at least Spiker well and truly away from the site. Same with Kansan. Newa's wonderful headshot, a solid read, and he gets them both. Map point again is there for DarkZero, but I'm not thinking this one's done. This probably needs all 15, the way this game's going.
Wow. I think Wildcard would probably be the first to put their hand up and say that there were some critical errors made in that round that ultimately proved costly. Getting no value from the Nitro cells in that round was a bit of a disaster. The Pulse had limited impact in terms of the read that they were able to gain in that round. And then, I mean, the late round, it completely fell apart. Wildcard were understandably left in a position where they had to send 2 above to try and contest the Vert. Adrian gets plucked at pillar and basically a line through their name then in round 13. Fair play to DarkZero. They have looked ultra competitive here on Consulate. Now 1 away from securing a 1-0 lead in the series. And if they are able to do that, we could have back-to-back 2-0 best of 3s to determine the first 2 teams from NA to qualify for EWC.
And we head to CO meeting as well back in the first half. Wildcard did not win this site on their attack. But it was only played once, so they've only got to see this once. And it actually came down to the 1v1 with NJR winning for DarkZero.
Wow, reinforced!
I still have a feeling another round's needed here on Consulate after this. With the way it's played out so far, 7-6, DarkZero getting on the chance. Couldn't close it out at 6-5. Can they now close it out at 7-6? And we had the rehost, which also got rid of, unfortunately, a lot of numbers. But right now, Newas and Kansan both tied at 14 and 8. 4-3 on the entry for Newas, 2-0 still for Kansan. And his cost has now gone from 100% to 85%. Nuez is Nuez and NJ are the only ones going positive at the moment for DarkZero, and yet they have a chance to win this game. It's just been that sort of match.
Yellow ping for Kansan here. That position vacated before he's able to capitalize on the break clear. As you can see, DarkZero have elected to peel back. They have the Tachanka and the smoke in play in combination with the Thorn and the Aloe. Even 2 Brow can offer Soul-Out Util as well. So again, the time is going to potentially be the biggest enemy for Wildcard if they aren't able to find something down below on the vert, if they aren't able to start teasing out this utility early. They elect to put that buck below, similarly to what we saw from Nuez previously from DarkZero, but Nuez himself is actually there to contest. Can he catch a timing? No. Kansan's switched on.
And getting those opening kills.
Loading mag!
Kansan's also probably been Wildcard's best. We're talking about the battle of the 2 best players, I think, in this match. Critical for Wildcard. And J90 will fall to bay. It feels like that round 15 indeed will be required. Wildcard have already seen off one map point. It seems like they'll see off a second unless Fault can win a 1v4. He brings it to 3 now with that kill onto Adrian. The plant goes down inside a meeting. Fault creeps up through long desk into the hallway. Knows there's one to the left side, but also knows that Kansan's pushing up service stairs, and that plant successfully goes down. 15 rounds required on Consulate. It may be the map pick of Wildcard, but it hasn't felt like it. But they get to once again go on defense. That was an incredibly good shot from Fault. Air jab will displace him. He sees the kit. It feels like it's in reach, but it's arguably not. With Kansan below and Baby Shark able to also push close by, he never had the chance. Never had the chance at all. 7-7. And for the final round of Consulate we go.
Yeah, this has been sweaty palm stuff on map 1. A real back and forth between these 2 teams. Well done to Wildcard and being able to break that site down. Kansan was fundamental in that. Again, it was similar to what we saw previously for Nuez from DZ with the buck below in clearing that, and he achieved that role. So fair play. Then help open up the site a little bit more, give them freedom. Clock was less of a problem, the denial utility had less influence. Wildcard will be pleased with that result, but immediately to lock back in over to Expo for round 15 as the roles swap once more.
Defenses. The defense active.
10 seconds remaining.
I mean, who have you got from here? Because we've seen both teams be able to win
5 seconds
an
remaining.
attacking round in overtime. In fact, 4 of the last 5 rounds now have actually been in favor of the attack. DarkZero winning 3 of those. So if you kind of go off recency bias, your answer probably would be DarkZero. They've been more than comfortable at getting plants down. They still have access to the Monty.
I think the map clear we saw last time out on this site was back in round 10. And certainly a stark contrast to the direct approach. That map clear they did from admin across last time was really strong. And I suspect they might go for something similar here. And that makes me a little nervous for Wildcard. How do they try and fight their way back? Because again, they got cut off by J90 Yellow Stairs when they tried to peel. They didn't get the Solace activated, didn't play Garage. They didn't have the direct plant denial. So I mean, there were definitely things Wildcard could have tidied up on that occasion. So we'll see if that's the case this time around. I think if we see a similar round play out, the onus is very much going to be on Wildcard to be the ones to tidy up their defense.
Feels like as we've entered overtime, the pacing has also just slowed ever so slightly. These rounds far more critical, far more on the line. Chalet to follow after this, that's a guarantee. What's not a guarantee is Nighthaven Labs. If DarkZero win this round, we may not see Nighthaven Labs with their pick to follow. Wildcard defending this second floor. Baby Shark drew Kino's attention, and that allowed Adrian to sneak up. It's 2 for 2, as equal as it could get. And while they do lose the Monty, it's a 3v3 now with the defense splintered. Triple stack on this second floor for an Expo piano site.
And no diffuser for DarkZero. So that makes it really tough to fight their way back into the round.
I don't think it's going to be a plant round. I think it's just going to come down to who wins this 2v2. With false low, a lot of pressure onto NJR. Bay over towards Vending. Swing, headshot. NJR lost his battle. False needs the 1v2. Baby Shark and Bay just need to hold their nerve, and Wildcard will get out of Consulate alive. Not only do they hold their nerve, they get back first floor. There's 60 seconds, but if False can get this kid, he does give himself another avenue, but so low on health, guys. Surely not possible. It's going to take a monster effort.
Yep, and he's going in blind to the site. Wildcard have successfully peeled West Corridor, Lounge respectively. So they have Eyes Spiral. This is tough for Foz. This would be an all-time clutch if he can pull this one out. At least has a bit of info gathered, but it's not a whole lot to work with.
He spots one, needs to hit a quick headshot. Now knows where the second is. He does actually have the information as to both players' position. Can he get a plant position? There is an impact. That impact, if it connects, no. User just open up a line of sight. We will get the plant successfully down. Needs to hit the headshot. He won't find it. It's 4 from Bay. It's Wildcard that will win 3 of the last 4 rounds. They overcame round 12. They saw off defeat in regulation, and they win 2 straight to claim their map of Consulate in overtime. Chalet, really from the start of the year, they're undefeated. They have not dropped this map from the 1st of January to what are we now? Well, 10th of July, at least here in Oz. I'm not too sure what it is over in North America. I think it is actually.
Still a night, probably. I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably, I don't know. Either way, 2-3 record for Wildcard, 5th preference map. You know, so well, it's not as if they've never played this map before. And in fact, the last time they won it was against Falcons 60 days ago. So clearly a pretty solid performance there over in Salt Lake City. For DarkZero, their last win was only 27 days ago against Five Fears, etc. Still, I would rather back in the team that's undefeated on the map.
Bands play out Castle Mirror, so very utility heavy focus there from the side of DarkZero. And as expected, Wildcard pigeonholed into the double shield ban on Takino. Excited to jump back inside of the server though. That first map was really tantalizing. There was certainly a couple of moments where it felt like either team had the opportunity to maybe pull away, but it didn't eventuate. All 15 rounds were required. Wildcard scathed through with an 8-7 victory. But the numbers are certainly much more in favor of DZ on this second map, as we've outlined, and I'm sure they'll be eager to bounce back. And probably, I actually do wonder what the assessment for DarkZero would have been on that first map. Would they have been pleased to push it to 15? I guess they probably would have been, but to the same extent, probably sensing that they may have been able to, you know, scalp it in the end as well. So yeah, it's certainly an interesting state in this series, and eager to see how it develops. Information, massive talking point on the desk, and we're going to see it fully fledged here from Wildcard in this opening defense. Both the Solace and the Valk in play, and also to note the Izami available. It's pretty atypical on Chalet for it to make it through, but of course a compromise with Castle and the Mirror Band down instead.
Hold on, I have intel on the enemy location.
Early information for doers with the radar and Stolen Snake. Well, it was a very fast-paced Consulate. I'm not expecting Chalet to slow down all that massively. I could see that pace translating to this map. But for those that are just tuning in, certainly it's getting a little bit later on the east coast of North America. Our earlier series today, M80 got the 2-0 over 100 Thieves, 7-4, 7-3. They will make their way to the Esports World Cup, and it sets up an amazing lower bracket quarterfinal game, Shopify Rebellion versus 100 Thieves. That promises to be a fun game tomorrow. And of course, for fun esports awaiting the loser of this series. As it stands, might be DarkZero, but they head to their map pick of Chalet. Slow start here in the opening round. Spike, fortunate to still be alive with the Solus, 1 HP. Bedroom and office, we haven't really seen just yet in the opening 90 seconds. 90 seconds now to go. Halfway through this first round.
Yeah, standoff at the moment. Both teams with counterintelligence.
Oh,
but
Kino. Yeah, get him off the shield.
read. Good read on Tage. Yeah, alleviated from shield duty for this opening round, and he comes up clutch with a sharp shot for the entry. Minute 10 on the board now remains.
Activating adrenaline.
Still a little bit of follow-up work to be done, but it seems as if that's now coming to fruition for DarkZero. NGR with the LMG gets rid of the Azami. Spiker low. They've still got 2 adrenal surges. Yeah, this is a clean start for DarkZero. Newers then goes and gets 2 towards Mezzanine. Spiker has to quite literally enter this call as he is on 1 HP, and there are, well, I was going to say more calls maybe coming his way, but no, it's Jade I know, and it's DarkZero. Flawless start on Chalet.
Yeah, we'll see if that is indicative of what's potentially to come here on map 2. Not going to jump the gun too early, though. It isn't the first flawless round that we have seen between the two tonight. There were, in fact, 2 back on Consulate. And even the first round in isolation was a wildcard attacking round win, and then DarkZero bounced back. So again, it hasn't really been too much of an indicating factor as to how the map may eventuate, but certainly a positive takeaway. Kino, you could argue, got a little lucky there. I don't think he necessarily had first contact on that fight, but still hit a sharp shot. And fair play to get the entry for his team. The rest of the push was succinct, and Wildcard weren't really able to leverage the information as much as they would have liked in that opening round. Kitchen dining, next site of choice. And I do wonder at what point, if any, we do end up seeing the Monty integrated here from DarkZero. Maybe it's not as comfortable the selection necessarily for them here on Chalet comparatively to other maps in the pool.
Camera feed up and running.
Only banned against them on 1 occasion. Most teams actually opting to ban out the Snake and the Blitz against DZ, but Wildcard opting to throw that Blackbeard into the mix. As well, a talking point back on Consulate, and it's Kino to fill that role in the second round. We'll see what kind of influence that may have. And again, DZ opting to go double info, the Deimos and the Solid Snake, to try and make this roam more of a challenge for Wildcard.
Reloading. Nothing to report at my location.
IED active. If it runs on batteries, I see it.
Double stacked on this first floor for Wildcard. I know DarkZero can hit with pace as well.
Located a bomb.
An easy slip through garage.
Threat detected.
There's one over towards West Main Stairs. That's Baby Shark. He's on radar. His position is known, but no follow-up from anyone else for DarkZero. Newers will go himself on the Solid Snake. Baby Shark gets the intel. There is one that's pushed into basement. No surprise. Triple nitrocell in this round, but only one of those is on the first floor with Baby Shark. Kino makes his entry known towards the mezzanine, gets rid of Adrian. The DarkZero going for the mess hit in through piano to clear out the defenders that are on this top floor, which now Baby Shark has made his way solo to provide a little bit more of a defensive support. That leaves Spiker to now go basement. Side a little bit vulnerable. Canton though has dropped. He can play the nitrocell. But Kino is just lighting up on the glass. Maybe him playing Monty back on Consulate was a mistake after all. 4 kills to start in the opening 2 rounds for Kino. Playing the Dockerby and the glass, and he's hot. A 5 versus 2. If flawless in the opening round, it might be back-to-back flawless. Spiker the only one left. Indeed it will. Oh, you couldn't get a better start here on Chalet. And to think that on the opening map of Consulate, it came down to an 8-7 victory for Wildcard. A 2v2 cars could have easily been a map win for DZ into back-to-back flawless. Wildcard are very fortunate they have that first map up their sleeve straight away into a tactical timeout.
Yeah, fair play to Kino in that round. He has just marched his way forward. Great opener. And then relaying the comms there for the bathroom hit. They tried to progress. left Baby Shark on an island who had to try and pop up and make a play, but Kino was clued in, ready to go.
Yo, let me get
And again,
Nice, let's go.
and again, Spiker got isolated on the other side of the map, so look, very, very positive start for DarkZero. Their game plan is working absolutely perfectly at the moment, and I do wonder if this tack timeout is going to prompt a bit of a radical shift here from Wildcard again. Opening 2 rounds, they've been playing heavily on the Solus Valk meta, trying to gain information, maybe trying to enable nitros, and it just hasn't worked really at all. I don't think their inability to read the push has been the problem. They're just straight up losing these medium to long range gunfights. Positionally, they're being outmatched. We'll see if that attack timeout again prompts a change in philosophy going forward. So the Valk will persist, but they switch out the Solus. Spike will be freed up onto the Warden instead. And they introduce the Echo, so Kansan will be in a position to play that information on the Yokais. Of course, you can position them above, you can play a little bit more proactively off that, and you also then have Plant Denial if you're able to play an anchor role late, but I'm pretty skeptical that plants are going to be a main win con here for DZ. They're seemingly very comfortable in commanding map control and looking for the kill con instead.
5 seconds left before insertion. Attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
I know it's early days, it's only 2 rounds in, but I mean, back-to-back flawless into a tactical timeout, yeah, maybe does have that inkling that this one might go to all 3 maps. But Chalet is attack-sided. Certainly it is as well in this region. Kino, well, he goes straight back onto the Monty. If that's not a warning sign to suggest to not play the Monty here on Chalet, I don't know what is, because Glass and Dockerby worked far better for Kino in the opening 2 rounds. Immediately holds on the shield, dead straight away. Fortunately for DarkZero, Nu is able to get a kill back onto Spiker, who starts 0-3. The Warden down early, which is not a good sign for the defense of Wildcard. Don't forget, out of the timeout, they're definitely looking to try and get on the board defensively here at Kitchen Dining on a repeat attempt.
Baby Shark could get pinched here. He has to be really careful. Lurk below Newers. Cross-held West Main as well. Good timing, good comms, good connection there from DarkZero. Grinding back an advantage. NJI take it low in the meantime, but he'll survive, but only temporarily. Unfavorable fight there up above against the Verd, and that's the advantage for Wildcard in this position. Still 3 players holding above on the 2nd floor. Presumably Kansan still has Yokais up 2. Yep, I can see at least 1 being flicked through, plus Valk info, so there's a lot for Wildcard to work off here. Not the best of positions for DarkZero at the moment. Look at the other pings. Oh, these are devastating.
Well, you can have the YOLO pings and you can have the vert, but if you don't actually hit the shots, it doesn't really accomplish a whole lot. Smoke thrown out here from J90. Oh, he just catches the spray of Adrian. 1 bullet falls to the head. Volt comes in to try and save the day. Can he win the next battle? No. Bay with a double pinch. That does allow Noahs to go into Dining and go for the plant. No one actually going to deny this will become a post plant. If he can actually get away from the vert position safely and play the horizontal cross, he actually drops into Wine. This is an intriguing move from Noahs. Will Wildcard expect this position? Right now, based on the way that they're moving towards the side, the answer to that is no, but as they get closer to the kit, it will be the only option. But to be honest, guys, time is slowly running out. Someone's going to get on that kit. Nitrocell to clear out the close angle near the kit, but not below it. As soon as Noahs hits this next shot, that's it. Round's done. Immediately, round is now over. That drop does nothing. DarkZero make it 3 straight. What a wonderful heads-up play from Noahs. He knew that both of them were above, got active, got the plant down, and played the post-plant perfectly.
Yeah, he commits to the plant in such a strong position, well thought out, and then discipline down below. Naturally, taking Wildcard a long time to get back towards that diffuser, leaving themselves with no margin for error. And New is able to capitalize and again putting on display why he is rated one of the best in the region. 3-0 start for DZ. Doesn't really get much better than that highlight package of the last round. It was actually Newers as well through the mid-round right here that brought the advantage and brought the round on their terms. And despite a lack of vertical control, he was eventually able to slip through the plant. And there was nothing that they could do without hitting an immediate trade on an off angle. So that's the tactical timeout burnt for Wildcard. They trail by 3 and things not looking pretty here on map 2.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of expected this going into Chalet, didn't we? We sort of touched on it really even at the start of the series. So far, it's following the script. I mean, Consulate probably didn't follow the Consulate script, but the series is following the series script. You know, 3-0 for DarkZero. Their attacks have been, really clean. I think this is the kind of game where they're pretty happy with their performance thus far. Wildcard called the tack timeout, didn't work. Okay, nothing's really working for Wildcard. They finally got an opening kill, finally had a decent start to the round. Adrian had a good round. He picked up 3.
Doorway barricaded!
We see bar games now for the first time. Wildcard are just going to try something a little different, move away from kitchen dining. 7-0 for Newers. I mean, I know it's early on here. We're only 3 rounds into Chalet, but kind of combining Consulate and Chalet, Newers goes to 21-10. The only player above 18 being on 21. 4-4 entry. So even though he's +0 there, he's active and engaged. He's the only player with an above 1 KPR, 1.17, which is actually really high. If there's an MVP of the series so far, it's been Newers.
Bomb spotted!
Mag change.
The Valk being pretty hard countered in this round, but the IQ round out Canton.
Oh, that's desperate play. When things aren't working out, so when things aren't working out, you try something a little different. Canton 0-4, Wildcard lose another player early. It almost feels like wave the white flag territory in the first half.
And midpoint now of the round, the DarkZero have a strong handle on this map so far. They'll look to just dot their I's, cross their T's, and work their way through the rest of the checklist. Mez clear up next. Faults with the util belt. But Wildcard spring into action. Base, Spiker lurk below. Maybe some flank potential, but it's pretty limited as DarkZero just kind of walk up and take free real estate. Fault just drops. Oh, at least gets caught though.
Needed that next one. Adrian probably had to win the battle pass stock. Yeah, they're all just falling apart. Spiker finally got one. The only kill that he's had so far, but it's 4-0 DarkZero. We are into speedrun territory on Chalet. 4 straight attacking rounds. 3 or 4 opening kills. They've had 2 flawless rounds. They had the one and only clutch go their way. They're winning in the multi-kills. Guys, I mean, this is just dominant. There's no other way to put it. They've done nothing wrong so far, DarkZero.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always funny how best of 3 can play out where 1 or even 2 of the maps can be quite one-sided, just the way in which the veto may develop. And probably expected that a little more so as well on Consulate. Obviously not the case, 15 rounds acquired, but is it shaping up here? Map 2, Chalet, DZ. I think it's fair to say as you have a bit of a speed run effort at the moment. No sign of slowing down. Nighthaven Labs, though, the 3rd map if required in this series, and seeming likely at this point, probably won't be the same case. That should probably go back into the realm of potential 15-rounder, and will hopefully be a close conclusion for this upper bracket match. EWC slot on the line to join M80 as the first 2 teams qualified from the NAL. The Wildcard continue to get desperate. It feels like they are trying everything they can, throwing everything they've got at DarkZero. Nothing is landing.
I think they would have always felt like Chalet was going to be a difficult ask.
Loading new magazine!
But maybe not even this difficult. As you said, nothing's working. especially after how close and competitive Consul it was. Both teams looked evenly matched. There was nothing separating them. Yet now you go Chalet, a simple map difference, and DarkZero just look otherworldly in comparison to Wildcard. For what it's worth, Nighthaven Labs would be, well, and it looks like it will be, the ultimate map to finish on. A 4-2 record this year for DarkZero and a 3-1 record this year for Wildcard. Pretty similar stats as well. So it gets us probably then back to another even map between the two teams. Chalet seems to be so far the outlier. Now things can change in the second half.
Tracker on the prowl.
2 more rounds to go until we even get there. DarkZero look like they're on for a 6-0. Pace has slowed down a little bit here though. Back onto the top floor for Wildcard. This is now officially the slowest round that we've had in this half. I don't know if that's a good news situation for Wildcard or if DarkZero are just planning something sneaky.
I think they're trying to find a one, isolate Bay, but it doesn't quite work out as Faults gets pounced upon. Perhaps didn't have the read that I thought. Kino delayed trade attempt, 60 seconds on the clock, mind you. Side on the other side of the map.
Oh, he's gonna have to pick it up. Should be able to get this kill onto Bay. Oh my goodness, Kino, that's not the spray. He's been pretty much perfect this game, but not that moment, not that round. Wildcard will get one, and one then can potentially lead to 2, and if it does, 2 defensive rounds on Chalet. It's a 55% attacker-sided map in North America. So 2 defensive rounds would still put Wildcard in an okay position if they start well in the next half. And the next half is coming up very, very soon. Round 6 suddenly becomes ultra important for both teams. Wildcard's ability to get a second. And I think for DZ, they just want to get to 5 and get back to winning this comfortably, as they were up until about a minute ago.
Yeah, credit to Bay in that round. His bar stock hold was great, opposing side of the map, but either a misread or a missed time, or maybe a little bit of both. Faults jumped in uncontested, and then Kino tried to creep for the trade, but got the jitters. Then opened up an opportunity for another kill up through Library. And Bay able to close.
Oh my god, bro. I got so scared.
I assume that was him saying he was scared, and don't really blame him. I mean, you've got DarkZero looking to hunt you down, but he did a really, really good job standing tall, and has set the stage now for a round where they can at least remain competitive. They must win this.
If it goes 5-1, I think, yeah, DarkZero just probably closed it out. If it goes 4-2, it's a game that's in the balance. And that's where, for Wildcard being 4-0 down to begin with, they would take in the balance well and truly going into the second half. Attacker-sided map, you get your 2 defensive rounds. Okay, job done. What can we then go and do in the second half on our own attack? That will be the question Wildcard will ask themselves. So Kitchen Dining, again, it's the 3rd attempt for Wildcard on this site. And you couldn't ask for 2 polarizing plays of this side. A flawless in the second round, followed then by the newest 1v2 clutch, the plant, and then dropping the hatch and playing from wine. Couldn't be any closer. How is this one going to pan out?
It's the first time they'll be attacking this site without the snake, mind you, so they exchange out the snake unavailable for the Grim to combo with Dockerby for info gather, so we'll see what kind of influence that may have. As expected, the IQ will persist though. Anticipating the Valkyrie and a correct call, Echo as well. So NGR will certainly want to value his life in this particular round. Poking and prodding at the moment, J90 with shock drones. Pre-placed as well in position here from DarkZero. Posturing at the moment for potentially solar side / trophy early, looking to cut the map in half.
Going Selma, get ready for the breach.
Kino gets to work on that hard breach. And looking to drone forward. In terms of the split from the defense this round, it is 2-1. Those two below, both with nitro cells, Spiker and Bait. And they'll be relying on the info gathered from others to try and facilitate that.
I mean, if I'm Wildcard, I'm thinking in the next 20 to 30 seconds, do we find an avenue to actually get aggressive ourselves here? Try and cut off DarkZero before they get into their set play, which they've been doing really a solid job of in this half. You know, you think about these little jump-ins towards Solar and Trophy. Well, there you go. Adrian gets active. Over towards Mezzanine, though, of all positions against Newers, gets rid of the Grim. Newers was sensational this half, but 2 deaths in the last couple of rounds leaves him vulnerable. Baby Shark, no kills. He'll go 0-6 throughout this opening half. Losing the Solus as well is not good for Wildcard. Leap over Canton. Well, he gets shot mid-air from Kino. But the Nitrosol from Spiker, and suddenly an explosive end to the half. 2 versus 2 with 30 seconds left. Spiker, full health. Adrian still with that Nitrosol, but if he pushes down the stairs, NJR was watching. What a vault in from NJR. The double kill for DarkZero to go to 5-1. Smiles on the faces of DZ as they know now 2 rounds away from sending us to Nighthaven Labs. What a way to close the half.
The Mayor with a clutch to close it out. Hobson Trophy destroys Wildcard, as DZ seem to be doing on Chalet right now. It's 5-1. It feels like DarkZero can do no wrong. Newers is leading the way. I mean, it's a beautiful show from this team right now.
It really is a beautiful show. It's a great display of how well they are on this map. I mean, they're currently flawless on it, and it's for a reason. I mean, their attacking half in particular have been so strong, but Newers in particular, round 3 was just so good. And Newers, I'm kind of surprised they got caught off guard a little bit by Newers, given the fact, like, not only does it create ghost pressure, but he's always lurking around the map. And then in this round 3, it was such a heads-up play to be able to drop the hatch, plant the diffuser where it was, because there was no long arm in that. They had to take that engagement. Maybe a little bit of a blunder of the Valkyrie dropping, but nevertheless, I mean, just great overall plays from DarkZero, but specifically Newers.
Yeah, I'm so glad you wanted to highlight Newers, because I was just thinking, is he like not top 3 in the NAL right now? Like, he's got to be. He's got to be in the conversation at the moment, because I really feel like he's been so good for this team, specifically now that he's on the lurk role for DarkZero. The roles have kind of freed up a little bit. He's always hitting the backstab, and I mean, 14 and 10. 14 kills, though, I believe, or something. He's top fragging up there. Don't worry about the stats, guys. Stats are a lie. The stats are a myth. Let's not believe that. But the impact is obviously happening in the server. And DarkZero, I mean, they just look really decisive on this map. And it just shows how comfortable that they are on this map. I mean, in that bar round, clip we were watching a bit earlier, they were, once they got the top floor, there's no step B. Let's not do vert. Let's not figure out where they are. Let's just hit the site, right? And they just hit the site, and they just trusted their gun. So, yeah, I mean, right now, DarkZero, they just look so dang good on this map. And double shields were banned on Kino. I don't know if this is maybe a map that you don't want to do it on, maybe bigger maps. But Kino also is top fragging for this team. He only went Montane. He only went a shield once so far on attack. So, I mean, yeah, they're just looking way too good.
I will say, like, regardless where the bans go, there's one thing that I really like DarkZero does on their attacking half when they ban the defenders is they get rid of that castle. It's not really a normal ban or traditional ban you see some teams do. Like, you'll see the Azami go away. You'll see a Mirror go away. You'll see a Walden out. But it's that castle that I really... okay. It's that castle that I really do enjoy on their attacking half, because when you think of how strong castle is, especially on those top floors, just being able to deny piano, to deny... deny bathroom, deny piano, deny any of those top floor windows. I mean, it really puts a lot of pressure on defenders, which is why, like, I feel like it helps their attacks really flourish, where we're going more traditional bans here. So I don't know. I'm not too surprised by these bans, but I do like the bans specifically coming out of the side from DarkZero on their attacking half.
All right, well, DarkZero, they now shift over to defense, and Wildcard, they're the ones who have to make something happen on attack, because DarkZero 2 rounds away from sending us to map 3.
Well, I love you, Lax, but you just spent a minute talking about Castle. It didn't get banned and it didn't get picked. And so far from what we've seen in this entire game, it hasn't been played at all. I don't know what you're waffling about.
Hey, maybe we'll see it and then you'll look stupid. I wouldn't speak too soon.
Well, right now we might not get many rounds to actually see it, because 5-1 up, DarkZero go defense, looking to close this out, send us to Nighthaven Labs. They've been, I mean, pretty much perfect. I mean, the one saving grace for Wildcard is going into their attack now. Can they emulate what we saw from DarkZero. Attacker side of the map in the region, but 0 kills from Kansas, 0 kills from Baby Shark. You know, you go into this second half, 2 as well from Spiker. Not really filled with a lot of confidence.
No.
I'm reloading.
Certainly not the most confidence-inspiring half from Wildcard, but maybe their attack can shape up differently if they have the same conviction from DarkZero as the guys on the desk said. The big standout point was just their ability to hit the site direct. And they found that opportunity, no messing around, no hesitation. And they find the opening kill here in round 7, keeping Kino at bay, who had the license to not play shields in all but one round and was actually pretty good with gun in hand. On the Warden this round taken out pretty early on in the piece. It's solo side structure at the moment from Wildcard. Spiker with Kit. And he has just gained really good info. West main across into site. Red ping now available, but it's straight on the Newers, who despite getting pinged, able to find the double, make it 3.
Yeah, I think we can wrap this one up pretty quickly. Newers clear MVP on Chalet.
Loading new mag.
This is going to be a little bit disappointing though if you're Wildcard. You know, it's one thing to lose the map, but it's another thing to just get completely demolished. Old Spiker by himself now in 1 versus 4, facing the prospect of being 6-1 down, and Nighthaven Labs is calling. And we're not too far away from picking up that phone. 5 map points for DZ. And to think on Concealate, it came down to a 2 versus 2 in the 15th round. And to think that DarkZero had 3 round chances to close that map out. And had they done so in one of those 3, they'd be on their way to EWC. Instead, they're on their way to Nighthaven Labs.
Yeah, it's remarkable how much a map can change up a matchup at a head-to-head. And the record for DZ here on Chalet is great. And they really just look at home and super comfortable inside of the server. 5 opportunities to close it in regulation. It's inevitable at this point. Labs is calling, it's knocking on the door, and DarkZero are eager to jump into that 3rd and final map, which all the numbers suggest should be a real banger of a final map to close out this series. Still got to officially get there though, and we go over to
Baby Shark
10 seconds
had
left
the
before
Brands World Cup game on this match in Chalet. That's why he's 37.
Yeah, maybe he was thrown off by the... I think there was a saved penalty or something from what I saw. I don't know if something's happened since. But...
No, nothing has happened since.
Still 0-0.
Yeah. No, it's not 0-0. Come on.
Oh, really? Is France leading now? When I last looked, it was...
France have won, okay? France have won. I apologize.
Okay. Well, he can lock back in now.
That, but this is also not a World Cup stream, so I don't care. Now, and also, that's what I was kind of alluding to, is going into Nighthaven Labs, Baby Shark might enter the server now.
It's not distracted. Fair enough.
Unless Wildcard can win 5 straight and get us to overtime now. Is that a possibility? I'm not so sure.
Nothing is impossible, but it would be something. DarkZero looked so good on this map. So the sense up here from Adrian. They have protection from the jump out, and J90 does get caught. Good pinch from Kansan, who's been a little unlucky in a couple of key moments across this map so far. He nets his first kill. Solid pressure from Wildcard early in this round. As Spiker scouts sight, and we know how much he loves calling a heads-up play. We'll see if that's able to translate into something.
You know what's interesting as well with that opening kill, I was about to mention it before it, but that is the one area Wildcard have been very, very good at here on this map. There's only been 3 opening picks for DZ. They've won a lot of these rounds, 3 or 4v5. They're going to have to do it again here. Match point, 3 versus 5. Plan to go down from Spiker. Not a lot of success here on Chalet, but it looks like at 6-1, Wildcard are finally going to get around to go their way in a very convincing fashion. Last time they won was on bedroom and office in the 5th round of the first half. Jindina here in round number 8 seems like will also go their way to give them round number 2 and just give them a small sign of hope. I think we're past the point of Gaspave's fault. The round is about to end. Baby Shark just keeping him trapped towards trophy stairs. Longer angle for Kansan. Adrian had the cut back up towards Solar covered. Flawless. Well played from Wildcard, but the reality is you've still got to now win 4 straight. It's a start, but will it be a journey?
Oh, we're seeing smiles. I mean, if anything, they could try and keep their spirits high and ensure that their fundamentals and the comms are in check. There's no harm in giving this map what you've got and just trying to play some good siege, which may help bleed into the 3rd map, if that is ultimately to be needed. Good last round, though, from them. The introduction of the Sense was intriguing. Ultimately, it wasn't really needed. Good pinch mez. Spike with good info side, and then they were able to rally themselves into the objective with some pretty simple cutoffs on the top 4. So credit to Wildcard. DarkZero to rotate over to Bar for the follow-up.
Always start when you get these kind of 6-0, 6-1 sort of start, score lines. That sort of round, you kind of just brush it aside. Inadvertently, yeah, incredibly well played. Flawless, did everything right. Opening kill, got the plant. Literally couldn't have played that round any better. And yet the overall match says it doesn't really matter. And we're all just kind of holding bated breath that we're going to Nighthaven Labs. And that is where this series will be settled. But for every comeback, it starts with a round, then the 2nd round, and then the 3rd. And it takes 3 or 4 rounds until we feel finally convinced that the comeback is on. 1 round at a time mentality needs to be installed for Wildcard. They got everything to gain and nothing to lose.
Loading new mag.
And as I said, 5 of the last 6 rounds, they've gotten the opening kill. They've had the early advantages. They just have failed to convert on 3 of them. So they've had good looks. As we head to Bar Games, DZ wanting to close this out quickly. Interesting, no hold actually inside of Library from DarkZero. Spiker aggressive, spots the deployable shield, deals with that one quickly. Newers goes down. Baby Shark has found a 2nd. Newers can't believe it. It's another opening kill for Wildcard.
Baby Shark was in another postcode then. I don't know how that play's been facilitated, but fair play. They shut down the danger man. You took about top floor and J90 flushed out.
Hang on, we're not done on Chalet yet. Bolts is taken low, but he did at least find that kill onto Baby Shark. Wildcard are in a very good position here to get themselves to a 3rd round. Although they are out of the ROUs from the Sens, so they won't be able to play shield screens for the actual execute. And when you factor in the Shamika launcher of NJR, you've got a Nitrocell for Kino. Bolts can still get some kind of information. This is not impossible for DarkZero, although losing Faults certainly doesn't help. Oh, Kino. Well, that's a freebie. Hang on. He plays for more info. No, the timing as Adrian just gets off. He now then has to force that kill. Kino just keeps on sprinting to try and make up the ground. NJR, good kill onto Bay towards the big window of games. And as Kansan falls, it's only down to Spiker. Wildcard have thrown away that advantage. He's stuck outside as well, and there's only 30 seconds. Oh, wonderful play from NJR. No funny business here on Chalet. All 3 maps are indeed required. Both teams statistically actually run pretty even on labs.
Yeah, that's the thing, that the numbers suggesting that these 2 teams are strong on labs and thereby evenly matched. And yeah, sure, a bit of momentum, but I mean, as the desk showed some of the clips there during the break, I don't think that the spirits of Wildcard were all that crushed. They were still very much up and about. It kind of just took that 2nd map in stride. I'm sure when the veto played out and they planned for it, it was very much a case of unlikely at best to get the win on Chalet. So the 3rd map felt likely, and that's where we go. As the bands play out Double Hard Breach Denial and Double Hard Breach itself, Bandit Kaid, Thermite and Havana So that will keep the mirror up for denial, and there'll be a reliance potentially on the Mav as well in helping get that IT wall opened up. Excited to jump into this one.
Our second time seeing Labs today, of course, played earlier today in the M80 100 Thieves series. And man, it ended up winning that 7-4. What have you got for this one, guys? At 0-0, third map. How do you look at this from a prediction standpoint? If you had to hazard a guess, at Wildcard starting on defense, that's the information you get, plus the bans. Which way are you leaning?
It's a really tough choice. Again, all of the data really does point towards this being such an even matchup, right? Like, both teams are low 50% in terms of attacking win rate, high 50s defensive win rate. There's a plethora of maps played, 6 for DZ, 4 for Wildcard. Like, the pool of data is pretty strong. I guess somewhat important to note, 57 days ago, these two did actually take battle on this map. It was the last time Wildcard did play Labs, losing to DZ 4-7. So there's a slight precedent to suggest that DZ are the stronger team heading into this one, but my opinions are mixed. If I had to pick a team, if I had to pick somebody, I'd probably go DZ, but expecting this to probably be close, and I wouldn't be shocked if we see another OT.
I was looking back at that game as well, the 7-4 that you mentioned, incredibly attacker-sided to DarkZero. Oh, sorry, not two Darks, well, they obviously won the map, but yeah, very attacker-sided.
I should also note, though, that funnily enough, the last time Wildcard actually won this map, also against DarkZero. So, again, it's impossible to predict this one.
Dua's getting the initial tag on a Spiker. Better return serve from Kansan as he collects the opening kill. But J90 will finish off what Nua started onto Spiker by returning serve. So 1 for 1. They both land an early blow. J90 taking a bit of damage towards storage as Baby Shark continuing to contest from this top floor. This top floor is the side. But a very late opening of IT for DarkZero has meant Wildcard have been able to play this vert game without worrying too much about a potential push in through IT, and that's going to benefit them with that kill from Baby Shark.
Yeah, that really now protects that server position where the Buck can be so powerful in flushing out close angles and alleviate some pressure electrical and start allowing the attack to think about the route towards Pillar for the plant. So that's a massive kill. And prior to that as well, shutting down the lurk from Nuas, which was a powerful trait for DarkZero to be reliant upon back on Chalet. As the desk alluded to, Wildcard needs to be better ready for it, better prepared, tackling it here on Labs. DarkZero trailing 3 players to 4. Make it 2.
And JR gets caught. Lovely kill from Faults to get rid of Bay. Opens up Rafters, but still down a player. Forcing out the first of 3 gas babes from Adrian. 2 still remain. Faults is actually going to rotate over towards Blue. Still so much utility available though for the defense.
Oh, that's a catch.
But take away the Nitro Cell, the Baby Shark, if he stays down on that floor. Now currently a 2 versus 2. The flash actually self-inflecting. Kino allows Kansan to then swing and leaves it all down to Faults. He's got 10 seconds to try and find the 1 versus 2. He can't even get through the doorway. Wildcard will get the opening round on Labs. Perfect way to start on map 3.
Well, we saw the head-to-head Kansan v Kansan. Map 1 was very successful him on Consulate, but shut down, much like the rest of the team on Chalet. But he played a pivotal role there, opening round Labs, by pushing forward and disrupting any trade potential there from Kino Rafters. He was able to essentially confirm the round for his team, bring it into a 2 versus 1 that was always going to be very, very tricky to clutch up.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
Well played by him. Over to storage for the follow-up. Wildcard would be likely pleased with that result. We're going to see them again lean into this heavy info game, which we've seen them tease a little bit over the course of the series. We saw quite a bit of pulse play back on Cons. Chalet as well, not shying away from the Solace Valk combination. So it's going to be a little bit of a hybrid between the two. And on a site like Storage, which offers plenty of opportunities to dive the quad nitro they've got for the IT breach push, you can also then rotate below for plant NAL, etc. Pretty versatile lineup here from the defense.
Attackers are moving to defuse a bomb.
Keep your tongue straight. I've got you covered. Jammer ready.
Yeah, I love the quad nitro here for Wildcard onto Storage and Control. As it stands, no one currently basement, but I feel like at some point they will get surely someone down there. Whether it's going to be Spiker on the pulse, who can certainly gain information. They are, of course, defending IT as well with Bay and Baby Shark around IT and Rafters. Bay contesting these Selmas of faults. But here comes the aggression from Kino, straight through vending, down the stairs, going to basement, but no one's here. You would expect Spiker to be here, but there's no one here.
Well, sometimes no info is good info. At least no one's clear.
Well, I mean, that space can be retaken, though. That's the only downside. Oh, almost close. Oh, and indeed will not be retaken from Kino. What a read from Wildcard. Well, the round is done. I mean, DarkZero, they go for the basement clear, hoping to maybe try and overwhelm a player like Spiker. The Pulse will typically sit in basement, get that information with the heartbeat sensor, play the Nitrocell. Spiker was never down there. That was the demise of DarkZero. And haphazardly from Kino, once he poked his head back up, instantly blown apart by that Nitrocell. Huge round for Wildcard, 2-0 start.
Should be flawless here from Wildcard. Returning serve after getting dominated on map 2. Starting out strong here on Labs. Game plan from DarkZero torn to shreds. Beautiful read from Wildcard. Nobody from the defense getting isolated on basement, and then as we see DarkZero try to transition that control up cargo, probably then sensing they can start, thinking about site. They know there's no nitro threat down below. Looking to get Kino in a playmaking position. It never eventuated. And for what feels like, at least the second time in this series, a very early tactical timeout called by the trailing team. This time around, though, it's DarkZero to initiate the chat.
Yeah, and look, I know this is just a fun little silly stat. It doesn't mean anything, but the team that has won the opening round has then gone on and won the entire map. Does that bode well for Wildcard? We'll wait and see. The teams that started well across Consulate, Chalet, yeah, they've pretty much gone on to do some good things. Although Consulate was a weird one. It technically was a Wildcard first round win. I don't know why I said technically. It was a first round win for Wildcard. But then 3 straight to DarkZero meant they did go 3-1 up, and then from there Wildcard kind of got back into the game, and it was close from there on. So either way, tactical timeout will expire, and I think it's pretty evident DarkZero are not happy with the opening 2 rounds, especially when you get flawless down on storage control. They go for the clear in basement. It doesn't work. There's no one there. And so maybe either miscommunications, misinformation, maybe followed the strat book a little too close and didn't adapt to what was actually happening in the round. Didn't actually go and get some info first up. I wasn't expecting them, to be honest, to win top floor. I still look at command server really as a defensive sided site. I know NAL has some different sided statistics on it, but
10 seconds to go.
Now we head to basement. A third different site. DarkZero out of the tag timeout. This feels like it's quite pivotal early on.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Yeah, the heat is being applied to the defending major champs at the moment.
Camera feed up and running. Enemies inbound.
DarkZero are a supremely talented team, though, and can find their way back into this matchup, and I'm sure that tactical timeout will aid them in formulating a plan going forward. Identifying what's gone wrong so far and looking to refine. It's the 0 in play for NJR this round, so a massive pocket pick. I'd hazard to guess that the 0 pick rate is extremely low, but a very versatile operator. You can gain a lot of info with the Argus launcher. You can even clear utility as well, but you need to be alive That is a key nitro that may unhinge the entire attacking plan.
Yeah, I'm starting to get a little worried now for DarkZero. 3 straight rounds, Wildcard with the opening kills.
Throwing Selma. Get ready for the
lose NGR, and Wildcard just looks switched on. They're just playing really good siege here on Labs. They've been in control on 3 different sites. Nothing for DZ's working, just called the attack timeout. 2 players down. Newers, no success on the Snake. And how impactful Newers was back on Chalet. You look at him going 12-4. Well, at the moment, he's now 0-3. So if we had the Kansan picture between games 1 and 2, right now you could display the newest picture. And it's not great viewing if you're a DarkZero fan. They need to get themselves back into this round quickly. As Kido slipped by on the Monty, it does feel like overall in this series, the Monty play has not seen a lot of success for DarkZero. And while it may not be the Monty at fault in this round, to get included where Wildcard have found success, it's only now the Monty remaining. And that's what you don't want. You want the Monty taking contact, and contact he finds, but at the very end of the round from Kansan, he's back. So a Wildcard. 3 straight, and that timeout did nothing for DarkZero. Wildcard are 4 rounds away.
Never a nice feeling when you take a tactical timeout and you fail to convert. We've seen the numbers historically. Your chances of winning typically in most settings will be increased. DarkZero being tested here, and Wildcard are playing phenomenally well. It's the mirror to be banned out alongside the Grim. You commented on the Monty before. I've had to look back at some of the numbers across this series. It's been essentially a mixed bag. It's very close to 50-50 in terms of the Monty's success rate. Obviously difficult to comment too thoroughly as to just how much of an impact the Monty has or hasn't had.
It's just too many factors, really.
I mean, when you're losing to nitros like that, the early pick to nitros like that, it's rough. Zero unable to gain a lot of information or clear utility in that round. That was the 3rd time Zero has been played in NAL for this stage. 2nd by this DarkZero team. Oddly enough, it was 2nd for Labs in their match against SSG. It's not a straight 1-to-1 replication, but either way, Wildcard are in a commanding position at the moment as we return to command.
10 seconds left.
Can they get 4 straight? That would be a devastating blow, and would essentially then mean that to hit any kind of benchmark or a position which they can salvage this map, DZ would then have to hit the next 2. So the pressure is well and truly mounting right now.
I think the pressure's already being applied and maybe hitting that maximum point. 3 very crucial rounds coming up for DarkZero. Otherwise, they face the threat of the lower bracket.
Reminds me of Mount Logan.
For Fun Esports awaiting the loser of this map. And while the loser of this map, Gus, I think it's fair to say will be the dead set favorites against For Fun Esports, you just don't want to see what happens on the day. And JR finally gets an opening kill for DarkZero, their first one here on Labs. Maybe a sign of things to come for them as they shut down Baby Shark. No water, that gets eliminated. A big operator no longer available for the defensive Wildcard. But most importantly for DZ, it's just a clean start to the round. Now you get the extra player advantage. Get a bit of information through IT. Stretch that defense. Yeah, Command Server is a good site typically for defense, but once you go down to 4 players, suddenly covering every avenue of the entry, it's not as possible. You get a bit stretched thin. You can't quite defend. Rafters, blue, electrical, con, meeting, the site itself. You can get overwhelmed quickly. This is a big round for DZ. Let's see what they can do as Newers hits the headshot onto Adrian. Well, that was unexpected. And then Kansan, he went for the double down. Well, this is a classic falling apart round for the defense where they just keep swinging to try and get the round back on their terms, and it doesn't work. DarkZero should be able to win this 4th round. Spiker may be the nuisance from below inside of Lounge, but even he can't find this kill. And it's flawless for DarkZero.
Well, that's better. but it's still a tall mountain to overcome that deficit that lays before them. Second flawless round so far, so 1 apiece per team. There's a big open kill from NJ. I didn't quite spot exactly how he netted it, but dropping the warden early is great. Even if that round had have eventuated into a 5-4 execute, when you don't have the warden to post up close electrical, it really makes the pillar plant very vulnerable. Ultimately, Wildcard, where the dictators are not even allowing that situation to eventuate, as you alluded to. They aggress, they hit the gas pedal, they tried to get the round back on their terms, trying to catch a flank or catch a multi, and fortunately for them, DZ were more than clued in and able to shut down every single attempt made out of desperation there from Wildcard. So 1-3 scoreline. DarkZero are keeping their head above water, back down to storage control.
5 seconds left.
Wall reinforced.
4 straight rounds. The opening kill has decided the round thus far. And it wasn't the case on Chalet. Chalet was a mixed bag. Consulate started off as a mixed bag and finished very strong. From round 5 to 15 on Consulate, there was only 1 round that wasn't converted. So when you kind of look at the series overall, all 3 maps, every single round, yeah, it's probably around that 70 to 75% mark as usual.
Brace yourself! 750!
As we go to control storage, it should be defended similar to the previous round for Wildcard, with a heavy influence on this top floor. It's a 3-2 split though, which is probably about right. Triple Nitrosol. This time Spiker, again, will not go to basement on the poles. It's not needed. It's not done every single time either.
RED active. Sweeping perimeter. I have you covered.
I think personally, I'm more intrigued to see what angle DarkZero look to take, if it's more traditional IT across. Oh, Kino just looks up rafters. Oh, this is ultra aggressive. Another Nitro. Sustains it this time around.
Needs help from Volts. Well, Volts has just ran away. Jedi knows the bait. This is very sloppy from DarkZero. And Volts ended up just dying to Adrian. Is this just a miscommunication round? I'm not sure what's happened. Kino's had to get aggressive. Backed into the corner, eventually goes down to the gas bait. That leaves the case in a horrible position. Oh, this is a nightmare of a round for DarkZero. Complete capitulation.
This will not be fun to remember.
I would love to know what the comms were for this round. Maybe the guys on the couch could give us some insight, because that just felt like a shambolic round for DarkZero. And credit to Wildcard for capitalizing and punishing.
Yeah, they did a really good job target prioritizing there. They didn't set their sights completely on Kino. They were able to isolate the rest of the attack, trying to support the shield, and then ultimately strike when Kino was vulnerable. Time here for Newers, but not a lot of info. Force deep. Try and sneak plant, but needs a couple of kills and not presented that opportunity. That was well played by Wildcard.
All right, there's 4. 4 is typically what you want on defense labs. Now it gives one last chance to DarkZero to get two attacking rounds. And a free swing, a free hit for Wildcard to see if they can go 5-1 up. And it's 5 straight in terms of opening kill conversions. So that means, that's right, 4-1 in favor of Wildcard. That's where they've just been so dominant. 2-0 in terms of multi-kills. Are you kidding?
It's that site.
Why are we going to Kitchen Cafeteria in a playoff third map that's deciding who goes to EWC? This is very strange from Wildcard. This is not what I was expecting at all. And maybe, look, DarkZero might not be expecting it either, but...
Well, I mean, they probably are expecting it, right? So I've had to look back at that last best of 3 they played. Wildcard actually opened up on this side on defense, played it a second time in round 5, and it was a 50-50 split. Wildcard defended it successfully on the first time, but presumably Wildcard with the read on the reattempt were then able to win it back. So,
What was that? That would have been back in kickoff, no?
yeah, this was kickoff. So,
And, well, this stage, it's been played 4 times for a 100% attacker win rate across the 4 times. Defense has not won this site at all this stage. Wildcard say, yeah, let's give it a try.
Breach charge set.
Steve DZ all their bluff.
I also feel like the record for us watching this site overall is probably like a 90% attacker win rate across, what is it, now 4 years or something?
Going for a drive.
I also love the fact that Kenzen's 9-1 after what was evidently a big struggle on Chalet. Just the 3 kills. He's now up to 29, 1 away from 30. Nua's 2 away from 30 on 28. Slow and steady right now for DarkZero. They probably sense that Wildcard are up to something. Why else would they be sending them to kitchen cafeteria?
Adrian's in such a precarious position. Face to face with Keynote.
He hasn't got really util to help himself against the Monty either, but I mean, the quick reposition's the right... Oh no, where are you going? Deployable ship. Oh, well, he just... Okay. Adrian is dead. Kansan also fell with him, and my bewilderment as to the site choice, Guz, is thankfully, for at least myself, going to be validated. That is a strange decision. Of all decisions you could make from Wildcard, they give a free 1 over to DarkZero. It's 4-2.
A Wildcard, they get that 4-2 split they were looking for. Maybe could have added a 5th round there. But what we're seeing from Wildcard right now, right? We've talked so much about the utility game as far as information goes, right? And how much that is helping a team. Talk to me about what you're seeing in terms of explosive utility, because that really is leading the way.
It is leading the way, and it's a theory that we actually call at the high level C4 maxing, or basically the more...
I've never called it that.
Okay, here we go. The more C4s you bring, you can, and this is a real stat, you can look up Grant Triple on Twitter, who's got great analytics, used to be a former DZ analyst. But yeah, the more C4s you bring on defense, the higher your defensive win rate is. And we had 2 straight rounds where Wildcard is bringing 4 C4s in the lineup, and another round where they brought 3. And it's not only just kills, which we've seen a ton of, that was a great C4 montage there, but they're getting so much damage onto the Montane that they left up coincidentally, and they're just chucking these C4s. They're using their smokes for the utility to kind of finish off Keynote as well. And again, it's not even just the kills, but even the amount of chip damage going along with the information game. Now they know where everybody's coming from, and no one on DarkZero really has a chance to fight back.
Yeah, I mean, we also were seeing a lot of the information. We were seeing the Valkyrie, we were seeing the Pulse come into play. I mean, again, Wildcard, fantastic job on their defense. I mean, we also heard Jake ask us, you know, what were the comms from DZ on round 5 in that round specifically where Kino stuck on Raptors, and the comms were actually pretty good from DarkZero. But the biggest thing was Kino was trying to figure out how we can get support from his team to help with the player on Raptors, the players bottom garage. And yeah, I mean, taking 2 C4s, taking smoke grenades, but Wildcard again had a very good plan. Bay was keeping him distracted. They were going for the C4s on Kino. They end up killing the player outside Raptors door, smoked that Raptors door, and then keep applying that pressure. And then what? We saw NJR come into Raptors, then to immediately be met by a C4. So I mean, again, the game plan from Wildcard on their defensive half was great. Now I could argue that last round was a bit questionable. There was no C4s. There was no C4s. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, coulda went 5-1 here. Fact of the matter is they're happy on a 4-2 half. Now it's their attacking.
Right, DZ probably happy as well. They don't have to deal with maybe the same threats, the C4s, that they have to deal with on that first half, but they still have to deal with Kansan, who between map 2 and map 3 has kind of found his stride again. And I know after that second map, we said, all right, Kansan not doing so hot. So it's only fair that we highlight him again here, that now he's performing a lot better so far better than his entire map 2 performance just in the halfway
Yeah,
point.
we were talking about the comms, we were talking about, you know, the mentality, and, you know, he made a joke, he finally got on the board. But this is the Kansan that Wildcard needed, especially from what we saw in the first map. I mean, he dropped 17 kills. So to go from 17 to 3 to now 9, and we're now switching halves, he can easily have another 17 kill game on the board. However, we also need to see a little more from Spiker, because that's another player that we highlighted. So if Spiker can start to find his footing here, it's looking grim for DarkZero.
Interesting to note on the bans, though, we do got the Bandit mirror going out, and this is kind of rare. We're actually going to see a... oh, we got off the cave. Okay, we got off the cave. But we're going to see that at least the tube, which is going to stall that IT wall opening up. And maybe we'll see some C4s onto that wall. We'll see C4 maxing.
It could happen. Wildcard now shift over to the attack. They have a 2-round cushion over the major champs right now. The winner of this map goes to Paris.
Well, do you think we're going to get some C4 maxing, guys? Do you want to partake in that saying, or maybe just leave the boys on the couch?
No, I like it. I'm a fan.
Oh, you like it?
Yeah. Stealing that one and taking that one back to APL. And the 2 nitros, though, at least for this defensive round. Yeah, intrigued to see the IT wall battle with this ban set. It's going to be really intriguing. Kite not initially selected for the opening round, but will be an option later on. 2-brow for stall available, though, here for round 7. Double primary hard breach up for Wildcard. They'll lean into both the exos of the Thermite, pellets on Habana, and Thatcher for any clearance that may have been required, although shouldn't be too much of a problem here. Smash finds itself in an intriguing state. Feels quite even at this point in time. Exterior con to be followed up here by IT. Wildcard just chipping through the checklist.
A really big focus.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, Wildcard should be very happy with that first half. They certainly gave him a freebie over to DarkZero, closing on Kitchen Cafeteria. Outside of that, they've definitely been the better of the 2 teams on Labs thus far, but I get the sense that this is going to be defense-sided. Just have that feeling. If it was in APL, it wouldn't even be a feeling. It would be more of a known quantity, but in NAL it's a little different. Meeting side being opened up by the X-Kairos of Adrian. Delay from the Zoto canister of Fault. Still has 2 more, but still top right off that wall opens up.
This'll rattle them.
Somewhat slow pacing from Wildcard, but also very efficient. Yeah, command server is not all about quickness in its approach. It's all about doing the due diligence, go through the checklist, clear out a lot of utility, try and get some of these positions like electrical, which is usually going to be quite defended. NJR tries to time this nitrous cell. It doesn't quite work out. Needs a bit of help towards electrical. Big battle ensuing, and it's a lovely double clear from Wildcard. Love that push from Adrian and Baby Shark to combine. They deal with the Warden, they get electrical control, and now the defense is under an immense amount of pressure.
Yeah, sustaining this for DarkZero is going to be incredibly tough, and not even in a spot now where they can try and re-aggress. Good read as well for Spiker on drone, 40 seconds. It should be a pretty simple trade-out for Wildcard.
All the chance for Spiker to maybe put the nail in the coffin in this 7th round. Leaves the door slightly ajar for Kino and J9O. Kansan continues the pressure with the skeleton key. What a lovely shot onto Newers as well, from breaking up the floorboards to breaking up those defenders. Wildcard, that is clinical. What a way to start the half. Flawless for Wildcard, and a bit of a statement as they get a very, very early attacking round. And they gain further separation on that scoreboard, closer now to EWC.
It didn't even need the trade out in the end. Clean and clinical with the vert element late. Had a whole plethora of flashbangs also available for the clearance, and a well synchronized push there facilitated by the double clear electrical side. That was really well played. Like the element there of the Thatcher on roof. I didn't quite catch if it had direct influence in the round, but still a nice consideration. The air jab though was absolutely devastating. As you can see, the push to electrical is certainly successful. There's the vert element late, and then J9O. Nothing he could do, and Wildcard pumped up 5-2 the scoreline.
seconds left.
Yeah, it feels like a longer way back now for DarkZero. Probably needed to take out command server. It's also 7 rounds and still 100% on the opening kill conversion, highlighting Wildcard's dominance in that area. But also, we've had 3 flawless rounds on Labs so far. We also had 3 flawless rounds on Chalet, and we also had 2 flawless rounds on Consulate. There's been quite a lot of flawless rounds in this series for what's been largely close. I mean, Consulate was close, 8-7. Chalet certainly wasn't, and right now Labs isn't proven to be all that close either. It's been a strange old series.
Time to make a new door.
But I do get the feeling that we're not quite done yet. Still a ways to go, but a big round now. In fact, probably a big couple of rounds for DarkZero. Storage and control. Successfully defended both times by Wildcard in the first half, comfortably. Flawless in one, 4 alive in the other. Time for DarkZero to get active early. They need to start getting these opening picks. They've got to stop playing as a 4v5.
Maybe they have to start bringing more nitro souls as well. It's just the one for this particular round with that vert element in play when they look to take top floor here. Wildcard, but Kino straight up gunfight onto Cans and drops the thermite. Cans has been on fire for map 3. Adrian's secondary hard breach will be disrupted. Baby Shark though with a delayed response on defaults. He too though gets caught. So it's advantage still for DZ at the midpoint of the round. A 2-2 split in terms of their structure. Kino's probably eager here to try and fall back. Easier said than done, and J90 now on an island.
NJR inside of storage with an Nitro Cell. I was going to say, as Adrian pushed through IT, he could have been a little susceptible, but he was able to push through and ended up finding that kill onto J90. NJR didn't pull the trigger on the Nitro. Spiker, the window, free kill onto Newers. He half-checked that. He didn't give it the full look. And it gives Spiker the free kill. 2 versus 2, and 50 seconds is more than enough time here for Wildcard. As they've got IT control as well. NJR and Kino need to play together.
I like this position. This is a tricky position to read for the attack.
Should be a free kill. Indeed it will be. That's Kid as well onto the floor. Adrian has to now make his way out of IT. Oh, the timing. NJR gets away, escapes. Kid acquired, 20 seconds. Lovely swing. What a power play from NJR.
Yeah, that really just exuded confidence. Love that position inside of Warehouse. He would have been very unlucky to have been cleared. And as he pushed forward, was then able to reposition into Useless and catches a good timing on the final swing. DZ desperately was searching for something to hit on that scoreboard and finally able to do so. I mean, I say finally, they've been seesawing rounds. It was really that 3-round head start though for Wildcard that's put them in a strong position. As DZ continue to play catch up, they go down to basement. And you finally now see that Kaid brought into play, complementary to the Tuba Rao, and Castle as well to be deployed here. So expecting Castle barricades to be distributed for the horizontal clear first floor. And anticipating DZ to look to contest a little bit here and not necessarily forfeit complete vert control across to the attack, who respond accordingly with the Ram. Spiker as well on the Snake this round, so he'll play a pivotal role in looking to gain information alongside both the Lion and the Doherty.
That was the closest round that we've had this game. In fact, it broke a streak of either 5 alive or 4 alive. From round 2 to round 7, guys, 3 flawless and 3 4 alives.
Wow. That's why this series feels a little weird.
Very weird. None of the rounds have been close up until that point. Adrian gets taken low early. First time seeing Bank this half. Saw it only the one time in the opening half as well. And still at 100% conversion, it's green ticks for 8 rounds straight. Which is maybe bad news for DarkZero that they didn't fully convert onto the Lion of Adrian, that he stays alive. It gives Wildcard a chance. They do double down, at least from 1 Nitro in the previous round to 2. So they will increase the C4 maxing outlook into the 9th round by an extra Nitro.
Or the Yokai. Spot out Spiker and just eliminate that threat for the game's lurk.
Good info here as well.
It still remains up as well.
Or one of those Nitro cells not connecting. One more available from NJR. Adrian, left side, wasn't expecting J90 to play that aggressive. Opening kill for DarkZero. J90 wants to stay for more. I mean, he's still got a couple of gas babes. Why not stay and defend the position?
I wonder what the endpoint goal is for Wildcard here. Do they try and formulate Exo? Options are pretty limited for them at this point in time. Nitro still up for NJR. He hasn't burnt that yet.
Can lay out smoke.
Bolts as well is still flicking Yokai's first floor. He's going to have a perfect read as to what Wildcard posture for. Can relay that to the rest of the team. DZ in a really good spot.
Payload calls available for Baby Shark. Secondary hard breach from Bay. Again, they do still have 3 smokes available. But out of Boogie Auto breaches, so no more damage really to the floorboards. Oh. Wow, shot from NJR. This Nitro gets shot out though from Spiker, but they lose the Dockerby. And NJR is just not missing that shot, not the way he's playing at the moment. We go to 4 versus 5 on the scoreboard. Only 1 round separating these two teams. It's 3 of the last 4 rounds to DZ, from 2-5 down to 4-5. It's been a strange old series.
And the Thermite to join Kaid on the bench, so that's going to further limit the hard breach potential here for the attack. As in the meantime, Wildcard will extend discussions by taking their tactical timeout. Probably just sensing that DZ are having a pretty good read so far in the second half. They maybe need to look to make a couple of adjustments accordingly. DZ in that last round specifically really loved the utilization there of the Echo first floor. It meant that they had a very strong read onto the final pivot and posture for the push. And JR did his job as required in contesting Vert and Breach. And good damage done earlier on in the round with some pretty aggressive forward positions held from the likes of J90 catching Wildcard off guard. And maybe that has been a bit of a theme for them so far. DZ positionally just maybe being a little more proactive than Wildcard have been able to read into.
I'm reloading.
Do catch the tail end there of the 9th round as NJR filled his role beautifully well.
Go, baby.
DarkZero is sounding concentrated on the comms. We return to top floor. And it's looking like with the Kaid banned out and both the Mirror and the Band, of course, unavailable, it might be a more aggressive IT hold here from DZ. I saw the wall at least half opened initially. Maybe looking to contest that aggro.
10 seconds to go.
Reloading now.
5 seconds remaining.
Gonna see the Monty here from Spiker. First time bringing Shield in this second half for Wildcard.
Deploying mine.
Gotta reload.
Activating jammer. Mine activated.
In fact, shield play in general has been on the lower side for Wildcard in the series. You have to, I think, if I'm reading this right, go all the way back to the second round of Consulate, which was the last time that we saw Spiker play Monty. Yeah. It's been a long time.
Drone activated.
IT ultimately was fully reinforced, but afford to open up even with the mute selected by DZ.
There's so much versatility in the lineup for Wildcard. Like, when you think about the Sens, the Capitao, the Ying, they can clear rafters with that immense amount of utility, but then also, you know, the con meeting side, you think about, you know, even towards electrical. So they've got options with this lineup. They're not set on just one play. But it looks like rafters will be the play that they want to force J90 away and take that space.
I mean, the flush has been pretty good initially. Rafters now vacated. Minute 30 on the clock. Spiker has not been peppered by nitro cells and raised blooms or smoke canisters. DZ will pocket that for later in the round. It's a positive start from Wildcard. Key is to keep the attack at bay momentarily. And notably, all Candelas used by Adrian already as Kansan falls.
Swapping mags.
I mean, that's the sign if you want to keep following the stats. 100% opening kill conversion. Will that follow again here into the 10th round? It goes the way of DarkZero. RU out from Bay through IT. Trying to break up some of the vision. Volts though connects immediately onto the Montang on Spiker. As J90 falls to Baby Shark. Desperate times here now for the attack of Wildcard. Baby Shark converts onto Volts, but they lose Adrian. He was down, now finished off by Kino. 2 versus 3 with 30 seconds. Still need to be reacquiring the kit as Baby Shark not only grabs it, but he pushes forward. Deep command goes for the plant towards the bomb chassis, and there's a decent cross here with Bay. This will be a successful plant and a double stack push over towards Blue. Bay can watch that angle, but he gets off it. That allows for Baby Shark to get the kill onto Kino, and JR will clutch this up as the only one left alive. A flurry of trades go the way of DarkZero. We are tied at 5-5.
Yeah, that was great discipline from DZ at the end there. If they got unsettled early, Bay had the perfect cross. The RU covering the opposing side. It could have gotten messy, and I guess in some ways it kind of did, and maybe Bay catching an unfortunate timing there in the post, but either way, DarkZero able to trade out with that player advantage. Let's look back at the end of that round. Bay's attention was caught elsewhere. Baby Shark then got caught.
Knife the floor for Bob for the kill cam.
1-to-1 trade left, and JR the last man standing for DarkZero. It's now 3 rounds in a row for DZ.
Well, I mean, it's starting to look like concerns for Wildcard. Defender-sided map, defender-sided rounds going the way of DarkZero. Winning the opening kills now, and they've won 4 of the last 5. We did hit the bingo in that round, by the way, as well, guys. It's a rare one. We got every major category stat covered. Plant, defuse,
deploying heartbeat sensor,
multi-kill, and clutch. So an action-packed 10th round sets us up, all tied into the 11th. Control storage on the first floor. Wildcard know at this point that they're going to need to do something a little desperate. They go double shield.
Double shield, yeah. Be interesting to see how that ultimately gets utilized. How much of that will be for the top floor clear as opposed to direct pressure in towards the objective.
I wonder if it might be a fake out, right? So Baby Shark could go top floor aggressive with the blitz. Not just sell from Bolts, not quite gonna match what we saw in our opening series today. And then Spiker will then look to slip in. In fact, no, they both. It's literally just a double push into storage from both the Blitz and the Blackbeard. Newers goes down. The opening kill for Wildcard. Plant successful by a split second. Kino got the kill, but it was quite literally 1 second too late. The plant goes down. This becomes dangerous for DarkZero. You still have the Blitz available in the post plant, but the numbers are with the defenders. Adrian's got the long cover. Keep a barrier certainly does help, and then throw bodies to maybe soak some bullets. The spam is too quick though. That's lovely from Adrian. Well, that was their only hope. Time expires, round is done. False just gets on it. But it is not going to work out for him or DarkZero, as Wildcard will get match and series point. 6-5 up, OT secured. It's an old classic. Rush into sight. The double shield works. They got plant down by literally about 0.5 of a second. Couldn't be closer. And now DZ need to win to send it to overtime.
Our Adrian is absolutely the MVP of that round. Not only what he was able to achieve in the post, but I can only assume that the Thatcher utility successfully landed there onto the Nitro denial attempt. And allowed Spike it to stick. Desperation from J90 with the keeper barriers, but against the DMR, never stood a chance.
Good job, guys. Good job. Hang on.
Beautiful from Wildcard. That was
Reinforcing wall.
a very clean attack. That was well executed. And now they are just one round away from EWC.
Yeah, it's been a really fun game of collabs between these two.
10 seconds.
But an 8-7 overtime on console. Maybe we run that back here on Lab's third final map of this series, end of today's broadcast.
Attackers' objective is to locate a
Why
bomb
not?
and defuse it.
One more overtime.
Changing mag.
Still at 100% as well on that opening kill. I keep referencing it every single time, and at some point expecting it to falter. And it has not. Double plant, and interesting, the last two rounds, back-to-back plants, they're the only plants that we've seen this entire map.
Also, the only 2 rounds of the half where we've seen shield play from Wildcard, but switching it up here as we return to basement.
Very horizontal. Well, there you go. There's the opening kill. Wildcard, get it. DarkZero now need to do something that neither of these two teams have done so far on this map, and that's win a round from 4 versus 5. As JNO falls, the hopes of DarkZero falling with him. And JR had to get up and close and personal. Only got the one. And now there is only one left. It's False. He eats the call. Cannot deny the plant against Spiker. After 3 straight to DarkZero, Wildcard have responded. And with that, they find themselves heading to the Esports World Cup. They send DarkZero to the lower bracket and book their place.